What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, I accidentally pinned Boogle in the streets message. It's alright. You know what? We're leaving it. A happy little accident, I'd say. Whoa, this song's pretty sick. You guys hear this shit? Kind of feeling this. Kind of feeling myself. Ayo, 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 ayo. Count me in. About to make a big win. Right in my pants. You know I can't dance. Shit, but I move my feet. Born for the streets. Don't give a shit. I keep it sweet. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Catching on for the first time, we were getting started. So basically we're going to be recording stories for tonight. But we'll be getting started on reading those in like 10 minutes here. Let everybody roll in. It's not a big stream, but it gets the job done. Add some auto-tune to that and you got a banger. Let's go, bro. Something we need in life. Why is a random comment pinned? Just saying hi. From Florida in Korea right now, though. Damn, what are you doing in Korea? Sounds awesome. Get your vacations in now while you can. You never know when you won't be able to. Do us a spooky story. I am, guys. Oh, you're getting a divorce. Oh, shit, sorry about that. That doesn't sound awesome anymore. Oh, and Shorn's going to Florida today. Let's go, Shorn. You broke your finger. I'm sorry about that. Did you break it back into place yet? Anyways, guys, we got 3 stories from the night shift. It's gonna be cool. I got it mixed up last time we did night shift because I thought it was night shift, but it was just like nighttime related. So these ones are definitively night shiftian. We all love you, buddy. Thank you for being the most awesome person ever. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being great. Did you guys see this one guy? I think his name was David Wilcock. That's a real person. But he was like a live streamer on YouTube. Yeah, he was a live streamer on YouTube and seemed like a really good spirits. Like his last stream was literally 3 days ago, and then come to find out that he had supposedly taken his own life, but he was sort of someone who always, spoke about, I guess. David Wilcock is a double New York Times best-selling author, a regular in over 100 episodes of Ancient Aliens on History Channel, and the main star of the #1 hit documentary film Above Majestic. David's far-reaching investigations explore the boundary where science and spirituality become one. His 3 published books contain over 2,000 academic references and cover sacred science, extraterrestrial life, ascension, the deep state, secrecy, cover-ups, insider testimony, and classified info at 35 levels of need to know above the President of the United States. As of February 15th, 2019, there are 5.98 million videos on YouTube with David Wilcock's name in the title, which shows the far-reaching impact Dave had upon the collective of today. So, Anyways, that guy's dead via supposedly taking his own life, and it's like, it just doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? Because he seemed like to be always in good spirits. I mean, I guess he had a little bit of like health issues more recently, but not enough, like nothing to indicate struggling to that degree, you know what I mean? So people are within that conspiratorial world are speculating that they beamed him up, Scotty. Andrew Batts, welcome back for 25 months. Says, hi, Joel. I'm sorry I'm a few months late. Work is getting crazy. As much as rehab sucks, sometimes I miss not having to do anything for myself. I feel you, bro. Don't get addicted to that, though. There's plenty of other cool stuff, like the gym and women. Just kidding. Don't do that either. I want to buy a house in the middle of nowhere and get into a firefight with aliens. I mean, it might be a possibility. They seem to have some sort of obsession with... He was saying that they have, like the reason that they mutilated cows was because they used the enzymes from the cow's, like, stomach lining to, like, digest food through their skin or something, so they would rub it on their skin. It was the weirdest shit ever. It's like all those dead and missing scientists. Yeah, that shit's really strange, too, because the one woman exactly who... Well, you know what? We're gonna actually figure out who that woman was, because there was a woman who gave, like, an interview where she actually speculated upon her passing. Never heard of the cow theory. Yeah, it was something I just heard about today. I don't know if it's entirely the truth, but it sounded interesting. Okay, so who was one of those missing scientists that recently had an interview? She was 34. What was her story? Yeah. Oh yeah, Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper seemed to get a lot of the stuff right, which kind of like aligned with the weird, like, you know, theories of like Albert Pike, or not theories of Albert Pike, but like, you know, like the Freemasonry stuff. Did you get Saturn Soul monetized? It is monetized, but I think Saturn Soul got like immediately pretty much cut down at the knee, because there was 2 videos that got like age restricted or demonetized, and so now it's like every video we put out has like struggled to really reach much of an audience, and I don't know, it's a little bit sad. Hey, Polar Bear. No love for Art Bell. Oh, we love Art Bell here. Okay, so you're almost definitely thinking of Amy Eskridge. She's the one that fits your description, female, 34, recent interview clips. So her story, the version that's been going viral, she was an anti-gravity advanced propulsion researcher tied to fringe but real scientific circles. Before her death, clips and interviews resurfaced where she claimed that her life mightn't be in danger because of her work. She died in 2022 at age 34, officially ruled a slewer-sloid. Now online, she had been grouped into the broader 11 missing dead scientists narrative that's been blowing up recently. Her interviews have been reposted alongside with the newer disappearances of William Neil McCaslin and others. Investigator and journalists say that the cases are not clearly connected. They involve a mix of suicides, homicides, unrelated disappearances. In Eskridge's case specifically, reports point to a personal health struggles, no evidence of being targeted, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, in her interview that she had posted, she was talking about like how the government was in contact, in communication with like what she called P-34s, or no, P-42s and P-51s. Have you guys heard of it? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Maybe they're P-45s, I forget. But anyways, they represent differing timelines for like the trajectory of like humanity, of which being the P, basically P meaning present, and then it's like present time plus 45,000 years, or present time plus 51,000 years. And it was kind of like building up to the basically 2 differing possible outcomes that could occur on Earth, specific to like the 2030 timeline and World War III, and how basically I think she was saying that there was like a 17% chance that the United States is like nuked by China, And then there was like an 83% chance that the United States surrenders to China. And then if there's a great nuke, which would be like beneficial to like, international groups that don't care about nation state or whatever, that just kind of like, I guess, truly run things in the background, that, I don't know, basically they go underground in their deep underground bunkers, and then they kind of like regroup and consolidate power afterward, after the destruction of everything. Do you watch Oompaville's videos? This guy was on, pretty awesome to watch. I know who he is. I know he makes candy. I know he's friends with some people in tangential circles, but I don't really watch his videos. Do you believe in ghosts? If so, why? And do you have any personal experiences? I'm inclined to believe that there's spirits for sure, unseen things, principalities of the air, all that kind of stuff. But, it's hard to say what anything is or what's going on. My personal experiences have just been like sleep paralysis and things like that. Are your stories all submitted? Yeah, except for the true crime stuff. Everything's like sent in. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. Bro, everybody's been uploading night shift stories today while I'm at work. I thought it was kind of funny. I uploaded like hunting stories, and I looked, and like Mr. Nightmare posted like hunting stories a week ago. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. I feel like sometimes we're all just on some interconnected brain wavelength. I'm getting closer and closer to the old schedule. This is true. And yet, sadly, the viewership and notifications for live streams is at its all-time low, which is just sad, but whatever. Do you edit the stories people send us out more professionally written? I do, yeah. We have editors that will dig through the email submissions and edit them to sound, well, mainly grammatically oriented, but hope you're well. What motivates you the most days lately? Well, I mean, I got to get up and go meet my trainer for the gym, right? So that's why I try to end the streams a little bit earlier, around like midnight, because I got to get up at 8 to get to the gym by 9. And then, and then basically I'm just trying to stick to my YouTube schedule. And I mean, lately it's been kind of, I wouldn't say I'm like depressed or anything like that, but I'm just like, I kind of just don't, he did re-upload a night shift stories today. That's crazy, dude. Maybe he's gonna think I'm copycatting him. Do you leave your Pokemon cards by the window so they can get fresh air? Yeah, they're sitting there waiting for you. Like a warm pie for a big grizzly bear. Post more than once a week on Spotify. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's all like, compilations and that kind of thing. So it's, finish my thoughts. Oh yeah, is this my job? This is my job, yeah. But no, I don't know. I've been getting into like Pokemon cards, and I've been like so hard addicted to it. Yeah, this is my full-time job. Not specifically the streaming, but just like the YouTube podcasts. Like this streaming is just kind of like a fun side thing to kind of keep me on task. It's not that I'm depressed. It's just like things are honestly good. It's just like I'm like about to be 36, and I'm just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, I know by this age, like most people have like the family and that kind of thing to kind of keep them grounded for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? I am old. Yeah, it is what it is. It came fast. It was like, it's basically an existential crisis. Been having it for like a while. But do you want to have a family? I do. I think that would help. But I also know that it could potentially be, it could be the best thing ever. It could be like the worst thing ever, right? And it's like you kind of take that, not take the risk, but it's a calculated risk, I guess. You're 28, you feel like life goes by so quick. It really does. You kind of just have to like have as much fun and responsible fun as you possibly can, and take care of yourself. Same, I'm 40, you got this. Thanks, bro. Yeah. Told my husband about the human safari story from Sunday Night Stream. He said, what the fuck? Yeah, I would not be surprised if like that's legit going on still, probably in like Ukraine. How would it be the worst thing ever? Well, just like if like you had kids and your wife, you know, left you and just destroy, you know what I mean? Like just took everything from you. That's just like stuff I see, you know, tangentially, and it's like, you know, you just worry about that because it's like divorce rates are over like 50%, 60%, and a lot of divorces, 70% of them are, you know, begun by women, you know, for whatever reason. And yeah, but I mean, yeah, the prenup makes sense, but like, you know, would you rather get into a relationship with somebody and have a prenup, or would you just rather never look back and be like, I wish this never happened in the first place kind of thing? I'm 31 and I feel so old now that I have to start over. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's all good. I mean, you're right. I mean, 30, like, yeah, it seems like a lot of shit gets figured out. You don't want to be in your mid-50s raising toddlers. That's you know, that's a good point. We want prenup. I wish we would know the future before we make that decision. Yeah, it's a really weird one. Yeah, and divorce is very hard on children, but sometimes I feel like certain people don't even really think about that. They're just like, fuck my partner, I don't care, I'm out of here. My guy has disappeared a couple months ago over there. No contact, and this has been hard. Look forward to your streams, podcast, or distraction. Much appreciated. My guy had to disappear a couple months ago. What is it? What guy is this? Age is weird. Oh shit, we should probably start, huh? Anyways, yeah, rest in peace, David Wilcock. Very strange. I don't really know why they would, if he did get taken out, why they would take him out specifically. It's not like there's a million people just like him saying the same shit, so I don't know if it's to like send a message or something, or if he just literally was struggling with severe mental health issues, which would stink, but I guess that's just the way of the world sometimes. What age do I get mistaken for? I don't know, bro. I am my age, man. Anymore. I mean, there was like a period of time where I was like my buddy's wife, who like it was like his newer wife, right? And like this was like 2 years ago, and she thought that she's like, oh, I thought you were like 28. You know, it's like, no, not quite. Military stuff. Yeah, it really does seem like they're trying to make the people who worked on like the anti-gravitical stuff disappear. People who, I don't know, maybe they talked about like Project Looking Glass, because it seems like it all correlates to that like technology that was, you know, fell at Roswell or whatever, 1947. You got the downed aircraft, the recovery of some like non-human entity, or maybe 4 of them, I guess, or something, right? And then, you know, the reverse engineering of said aircraft like kind of helped the process of uncovering the mysteries of anti-gravitical technology, where it's like, I don't know, like speeding plasma up to like intense speeds around is it like mercury 31 or some shit, you know what I'm saying, like some type of isotope, and then through that it's like you can move through space without like having any sort of like effect of, like, your mass does not affect anything around you. You can just like up, down, element 151. Oh, okay, yeah. Left, right. You can just go up like super speed. And but then also it's like people speculate that same type of technology allows you to sort of travel between wormholes, right? So you can travel large distances in a quick period of time, teleport, that kind of thing. But then on top of that, it's like, you know, on top of that, because of that wormhole technology, it branches into the technology of like differing timelines, and through those timelines you can like view the future, which is like what the Project Looking Glass is. I could be completely off base with all of this, but it certainly kind of makes some sense if like all of this technology all originates around, you know, the reverse engineering of that tech. But anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Click like, click share, click literally anything. Gonna end up like Event Horizon, yeah, in like a hellscape. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's our interpretation of hell, is just some crossover with some type of interdimensional beings, blah, blah, blah. The more we understand science, the more religion will fizzle out. You know, that's weird though, because I mean, like, I feel like there's maybe a integration of both, trying to understand the science of reality. You might start to see maybe almost like a reassurance of one's spiritual perspectives, at least in like certain concepts. Do you think the last topic I suggested on Saturn Soul was a little over the top of the artist Jake and Dinos Chapman? I'm not familiar. It's just going to be stuff that's already been on this channel, though. The more warp drive plus wormhole equals travel million light years away really quick. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Don't forget the gift of member. Yes, Amy, thank you. To welcome J34 ever. Thank you, Amy, so much. My sister told me her street has meth house nearby. How crazy. Don't we all? Do you believe the paranormal? I think so, yeah. Wasn't there a viewing portal that actually saw Jesus? I mean, yeah, maybe some type of remote viewing. Because if you think about it, if all of this stuff is kind of like true, am I dating anyone? No. If all this kind of stuff is like true, it would kind of lend itself to that concept of like the holographic universe, where everything is just sort of like a matrix-like simulation, where, you can travel to and fro certain areas within like a short period of time, because you're basically just like de-rendering and re-rendering within like space elsewhere, or at least re-rendering your consciousness in the way that you interact with, our perceived reality. It just, to me, it almost like you're not actually like moving within physical space at all. You're just like a consciousness traversing through that which is a perpetually infinite singularity moment, if that makes any sense. But then on top of that, since, you could see all the varying branches of differing pathways and differing timelines, because the simulation could simulate all of those as well. I don't know. It's really hard to say, to the extent that maybe we shift between timelines in order to avoid catastrophic events. Like if one catastrophic event occurs, such as like a coronal mass ejection that's like massive from the sun that, vaporizes everyone on Earth, or just like fries your brain or something. Maybe we just like shift to another timeline. They speculate that might have been, what happened in 2012 or whatever. Remote viewing into Alaska mountain. She saw humans and aliens working together. The aliens saw her astral self and she had to go back to her base. They also used the remote viewers to guard area. I know, isn't that interesting? And you have to be careful, because I think if you like remote view somewhere you shouldn't, they have the technology to like keep you prisoner, so then your body just your physical body just deteriorates back wherever you're at, and you're just like fucking trapped there. I'm 37, I have a 3-year-old baby. Daddy issues, not fun, hence why I don't get married. It's tough stuff, yeah. Almost a decade ago, my boyfriend, now husband, ended up getting into a pretty serious car accident. And so during his recovery, I had to pick up extra shifts wherever and whenever I could, and the only extra shifts available were night shifts at an alternate site that required a long drive. I didn't mind at all, and that's what made me think, oh wow, maybe I love this guy enough to start a family with him. But Hello, Joel. Say hello from Sydney. Cindy. Hello, Cindy. The deity God the human beings created isn't real, but I think our energy moves on somewhere. I mean, it seems like it would require some degree of like an overarching architect of sorts to, unless it all just like manifested out of its own sort of thing. I didn't mind at all, and that's what made me think, oh wow, maybe I love this guy enough to start a family with him. But it was also one of those nightly commutes that I went through the single most traumatic experience of my whole life. My route took me through some pretty desolate patches of Arizona, and although I'd climbed into my driver's seat with the sun still above the horizon, it'd be full dark outside by like a half an hour or 45 minutes into the drive. And I hated driving at night, even more so these days because it reminds me of this whole thing. But back then, I was kind of adjusting to the whole routine of grabbing a bucket-sized iced coffee and then listening to my morning playlist at the total opposite side of the day. But then, on this particular journey, I remember the feeling of horror I felt when, on a particular desolate stretch of road, my engine started to seize up. I didn't know much about cars at the time, and I still don't really, but I knew the sounds that my car were making were not normal or healthy. Now, being the dumbass that... Oh, I'm a dumbass. Oh my god, I am a dumbass. I've fucking read this shit already. What is wrong with me, bro? Like, what? How did I make it that fucking far into it? How did I make it that... Dude, I gotta switch topics now. What the fuck is wrong with me? Dude, there's some like major miscommunication on the back end here. This is so fucking annoying. God damn it. Sorry, guys. I don't know. Yeah, I somehow made it through that whole like first thing before. So this is your job, huh? This is it, being... And sometimes we make catastrophic mistakes at our job. How did you know you have a good voice? I legitimately did not know at all. Not a single person ever said anything other than like one person at like a Bible study in high school. When I was like reading from it, they're like, dude, you should read my eulogy. And then beyond that. Okay. God damn it. I'm not going to be able to get this done by midnight. Fuck. Whatever. Anyways, now we got private investigator stories, so honestly probably a better topic. A cooler PogChamp topic anyways. But I do have to change the title of the stream, I think. I'm an idiot, bro. Might be. How do I don't even know how to edit the fucking title. The flippin' flirpin' title. Manage. Edit title description. Oh, sick. Okay. So I can go here. Private investigator. Alligator stories. Okay. Can you guys let me know if that's changed? Frick. Okay, anyways. Finish it, put on a bonus video. Well, it's already out on the channel. It was those nighttime stories. But I swear that there was like actual night shift stories prepared and available, but I guess not. I just remember the corny intro. I love him enough to start a family. Oh, okay, yeah. Discovered your channel about a week ago, listening to your hours. Now thank you for the stories, helps me get through the work. No worries, Grayson. Good to see you. Okay. We're gonna have to fire Joel from Let's Read. Can't remember the last time you uploaded a video. Me? Okay, anyways. Going back. Your voice is great. Yeah, I mean, I guess hearing me, like, basically what you're hearing is what would go directly into your ears if I was 3 inches away from your ear, you know what I mean? Of which... You know, if I come back here, this is... I just don't think it's something that people would necessarily, like, pick up on just in conversation. Like, what a great voice, you know? Nighttime custodian, I write stories, but I've just written, like, 5 already in my book, very short. Yeah, send them in. Do you need one of those ASMR ear microphones? Yeah, what the fuck was those? I forget who that was. Was it Amaranth? Do you remember Amaranth? She would just like lick the headphones. I remember her channel got like completely demonetized. Make ASMR gay content. Thankfully, ASMR is just gay baseline, so win-win there. Almost a decade ago. Wait, I'm just reading it again. What the frick? Oh my god, dude. I literally just am reading it again. Holy cowsers. What'd you do, ASMR? I technically do have an ASMR channel. It's called Let's Read ASMR. I only have like 4 videos on there and then like some voice acting stuff I did. Finally got some other people to watch the Let's Read stream with me. Let's go, baby. Welcome, friends. My name's James. I'm from Colorado, and my late father was a police officer here for 25 years. He ended up writing a book about it, which includes chapters about the PI work that he did after boredom had him temporarily coming out of retirement for a few years. The book was never published, and I only got a chance to read it after he'd passed away, and I received all this stuff in boxes. But some of the stories from his cop days are wild. Yet, it's not one of those that I'm sending your way today. It's from his days as a private investigator back in the late 80s when Dad was still in his 50s. Because to me, it's not just the scariest story he put to paper, it's one of the weirdest and creepiest stories I've ever heard anywhere. And so here it is, and the following story is told from Dad's perspective. Chapter 19, 777. By 1984, I was working out of Denver with a guy named Steve Hayway. I actually don't know. It looks like High. Steven. Can you tell us more about that? And remember, friends, enter unhinged gag. Yeah, just people at the end of the stream, I tell them what to tell me, and then they say something funny, and I put it in there. How did you go from Bible study boy to this person? I guess I've just always been this person. I guess, or rather, maybe I can like code switch between the different forms. Someone who's goofy and whatever, inappropriate, to someone who's deeply thoughtful about, the spiritual implications of one's eternal soul or what have you. And I don't know, I think those are kind of my favorite people, who can like make jokes and then immediately get back into something serious, make a joke, like I never really took anything like ever too super serious, but I've also taken everything incredibly serious. I'm just a paradox walking. By 1984, I was working out of Denver with a guy named Steve Hayway. Now, it was a lot of the same crap, different day, but every so often, because of our reputations as former cops, we get a real doozy landing on our desks. We got a call from a man looking for his brother who'd vanished just over a year ago. The brother, a guy named Joseph, had been a quiet, hard-working family man for the majority of his adult life. But then in the spring of 1983, he just up and walked out of his whole life one day, right out of the blue. The only thing he left was a note, scrawled in pencil like he was mad when he wrote it, saying, "Sell the house!" ! Sell the kids. I'm not coming back. Now, since no one knew for sure who the note's true author was, and since Joe's behavior was so incredibly unusual, 2 agents from the state's missing persons unit spent 2 weeks looking for him all over the state. When they found him living down in Bent County near a place called Los Animus. The Bible is a fairy tale. It should start with once upon a time. That's fine. I mean, I don't really know why people get it. Like I get I get that sentiment, I really do. But it's like, it's weird. Doesn't it get boring to be mad about it? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that really, really want to be mad about, Abrahamic religions or religions in general, which is fine. But doesn't it ever get boring since the time you were like 14 onward to be like angry at it? To be like kind of like a Redditor about it and just kind of accept the fact that that's how the world sometimes perceives things. It's because those religious people want to shove it down the other people's throats all the time. Yeah, I guess that's true too. That's annoying as well. So you kind of like the ideas that you would want to do it back to them or something. Which, yeah, I mean, I suppose if tit for tat, if religion makes you a better person, I'm all for it. The fact that it's being a literal thing, I just can't get my head around. It's fine. There's no need to get one's head around it, but it's just kind of like coming to terms with other people have a different interpretation of reality, and as long as they're leaving you alone or not hurting anybody or whatever, it just is what it is. You ever write your own stories? I haven't really sat down and written in I don't know how long. Or I start and then I just get distracted by doing absolutely nothing. Fucking gaming, trying to play Arc Raiders again, and it's just like the most miserable game of all time. Which is so sad because it's got so much good shooting mechanics, but it's just like wasted on an extraction shooter. When they found him living down in Bent County, near a place called Los Animus, he very angrily told them to leave, saying that he was done with his old life and was never going back to it. There obviously wasn't much the cops could do, so Joe's brother drove out there as soon as he could. But when he arrived, Joe was packed up and gone. Now, by the time he became a client, it had been almost a full year since he and Joe last spoke, and he was willing to pay top dollar to know if Joe was alive, and if so, what condition he was in. I volunteered to work the case alone because to me, it made no sense to have both me and Stevie head out on some wild goose chase. Now, I know that might sound cruel, but it's just about as accurate a description as I can manage. Joe was a wild goose. He didn't want to be found, meaning that he could have just been about... Do you have a few favorite stories off the top of your head you read? Honestly, just like the stuff that comes to mind is just like classic science fiction stuff. I really do like these kind of private investigator stuff. I like the, paranormal stories. But they just, it's really hard for them to like genuinely stick with me compared to the other kind, the just like fictional stories, because fictional stories have so much room for creativity and lessons and interesting themes and concepts and ideas. Do I like Supernatural? It was a good show. It was fine. It just I only really watched like a small amount when I visited friends one time. Isn't it funny when you go to visit people or you go on vacation, you end up like watching a particular show a shit ton? Have you tried to use Grok or ChatGPT to make a certain story and you read it? I've never used Grok before. I don't have Twitter, but I have tried ChatGPT and to see if it can generate stuff, and it can edit things, but its writing abilities, at least in its current form, are just complete dog shit. Like you can pick up on like the patterns that it's doing very, very easily. It has a lot of like self-reflective stuff like shoved in there all the time, and it just, there's something about like the sort of flow of thought, the free thinking that comes out of a human's mind into the form of prose or whatever you want to call it, that's just like so unique to the person sometimes and the voice that they're given or that they're expressing. And I just don't think ChatGPT can really replicate that great yet, at least. Josh, lower right side, $, click super chat. Oh, sorry. Help me out there, Joe. How do I support the channel even more? What's super chat? Super chat's just donation. You don't have to donate, man. I'm just happy you guys are chilling, hanging out. If you do donate, I would prefer people just do it through the gifted memberships, so like people can get access to the bonus stuff. Hit the like button, get the likes up, also share the live stream and socials. Yeah, it's all good. It really does seem like it just comes down to like YouTube's like something within YouTube's algorithm choosing to like notify people and them also wanting to watch it. I admit I listened to a truly interested zombie story last night created by AI. Oh, okay. Wonder which one wrote it. Gifted memberships, I'm new to live streams. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. So like, you got a green name next to your thing, which maybe you were gifted a membership or became a member, which gives you access to the bonus content playlist. But then there's like at the bottom, there's like the $sign. No, that's not that one. What is it? Maybe it's not available for me since but I think down there one of the buttons says like gift memberships, and it like gives random people the ability to access that same bonus content playlist and stuff. But yeah, no worries either way. Thank you for the thought though. I usually listen to those YouTube shorts with the AI voice, just reading a Reddit thread. Yeah, that's the extent of my AI interaction as well for content. He didn't want to be found, meaning that he could have been just about anywhere, having long since departed the state of Colorado. The only leads that we had were his presence around Los Animus and a storage container full of his stuff. So having learned what kind of man he was, I drove down to Bent County to try and get a sense of the man that Joe had become. Los Animus is a small town in the southern plain, and if the legends are to be believed, it was named after a group of doomed conquistadors who died without receiving the last rites. Now, as a result, their souls were doomed to remain in purgatory, leading the Spanish to give the place the full title of La Ciudad. Whatever, I won't read it in Spanish. The City of the Lost Souls. Azazel, thank you for the 5 gifters. To Lindsay Does My Hair, Stephanie Langford, 5 a.m., Brandon Shoom, and Curious Light. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content. Do I ever flirt with girls just to flirt? I fart on girls just to fart. I don't know, man. I'm like, you mean like in real life, it's like I'll chat with people. I don't know. I don't really, like, now that my life is kind of sort of terminally online and like my existence outside of that is not the most creative, right? It's like and I'm getting old, getting older as well. It's like the routines, like, and I'm not, it's like I have a gift for gab, if that makes sense. Like I have the ability to talk to people about whatever the fuck they want, whenever, but it's not one of those ones that can kind of like generate conversation out of the blue the way I see some people do, so like the ability to flirt, it's like the flirtations are really only going to happen if like we're forced into the same space, you know what I mean, for a long period of time and actually get to know each other. I genuinely like am just not, I don't know, not one to like bust the fucking wall open to like get to know someone. Hey Josh, thank you for the gifter to Icarus. Thank you, Josh. Send me a spiritual hug. Yeah, always accepting those. Can I ask you, today I watched one of my favorite content creators. Her live stream has 150 viewers. When she posted the video, it had over 12,000 views. How do you account for this discrepancy? I don't know. I mean, well, that's what's so weird to me is like, whenever I like briefly switched the live streams to being a little bit earlier, it kind of just like tanked the live stream views, right? But then there'll be nights where I start the live stream like this, like after the couple weeks of doing that, and it doesn't go back to the old number, because before I would like almost get into like the 400s concurrent viewers up to almost 500. And really ever since starting when I first started live streaming, I think I was getting like close to over 1,000 people watching, or over 1,000, which was pretty cool. Like the most I think I got was 1,200. That was pretty unique. And then I took a break, came back, and like the numbers greatly dropped. And then it just really seems like anytime you ever change anything on YouTube, it's like YouTube's like algorithm is like so fucking ready to just like throw a content creator into the dirt. It's like one of the most frustrating things because it's so heavily reliant upon momentum. Like, does the person that we're sending this notification out like it? Oh, they do? Okay, well, we'll send it out to another, and then another. And it's like it creates this cascade effect. And if you do anything to interfere with that cascade effect or its current like balance, it's just like throws you so out of whack that you're not going to get back to normal. Whereas if I was on Twitch, had 5,000 people watching concurrently on Twitch, and then you took a fucking 6-month break, dude, I've seen so many Twitch streamers come back after like a 6-month break or something, and then they pick right back up where their viewership was, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, I guess it behooves Twitch to actually notify the audience that they're live, and maybe that's just like not how the notification systems work for live streams on YouTube. It's just very weird. What about a show called Dark Angel Grimm? I don't think I've seen those. I've heard of it though. What's up, Silky Dub? Well, I stay at home, Mom, now, so you can set your time whatever you want. All right, sweet, perfect. Do I follow you? I'm sub, but it still doesn't even mention me when you're live. I don't know what's going on. I have to search your channel. Yeah, and hence why I say the time. I don't know, man. Even when you hit all notifications, like, it's just weird. Why would a guy constantly say really... Why would a guy say constantly really flirty and suggestive things if he doesn't really mean them? I mean, that's not what I said. I don't know what you're talking about, honestly. Or is this someone that in your life, or are you asking for advice? Or do I lift heavy weights, but I still pull my back out getting out of bed? Yeah, maybe you're just like really tight, you know what I mean? Or the bed is really shitty and just in a weird position. I'm asking about my situation, advice. Why would a guy constantly say really flirty and suggest things he doesn't really mean them? Maybe there's a lot of girls who like love the attention. Like I've had, friends who, like the server that we're talking to at the restaurant, that he's, somehow slid into her DMs. Like he ends up getting like, flirtatious and or like pictures of her in her like underwear or something shit. And you know what I mean? I'm just like, blows my mind. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and that's our server that we were just chatting with, very chill like, and he's like, yeah, but she's just like a tease. She just wants attention. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, that's probably like your case as well. Like everybody just wants attention without some degree of like commitment or whatever sometimes. And maybe it just requires you to be like, hey, listen, let's actually hang out or whatever. Some guys don't realize they're being flirted with, so they don't respond nicely. I guess it is, yeah, sometimes difficult for people to tell. You kind of have to like slap us in the face or in the butt or whatever. Joel, what's your mom's reaction when your dad bought that boat? There was a lot of shit that he bought around that time that my mother was not happy with. I remember he was definitively going through quite a few like midlife crisis-y type moments. Buying a fucking shitty ass like Mustang. What the fuck was that? It wasn't even, it was like an automatic one, which was just kind of like embarrassing, you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with driving an automatic, but if you're gonna get like a cool dad car or whatever, like you should probably get the one that you shift gears in, and then there was like, he bought some like fucking four-wheelers or something retarded. It was the dumbest shit, like shit that he just didn't use. I don't know what he was trying to like fill his void of his life with. Hey, Mr. X Dreams with the 5 says, good to see you still kicking, old friend. Cheers. Thank you, bro. We are still going, still alive. Mr. X Dreams, you follow the alien stuff. What was the deal with David Wilcock? Do you see he's dead now? What the fuck's that all about? You drive a mail car, nice. Get you one that really have vroom in. Also, if you're a bartender or server, most men think you're just doing your job and flirting to get better tips. Well, that's true too. It's like very difficult to differentiate sometimes, because you know, you're so used to people being like, bro, they're your server, like, or like, you know, your stripper who's giving you a lap dance is not in love with you, right? You know, by comparison. But so sometimes, yeah, you just, I don't know, go out on a limb and literally shove your phone number into a dude's face, and he will get it then. Feels like he wants me to believe that he likes me the same way I like him, but I'm really sure he's talks to multiple girls. Oh, okay. Oh, it's like an internet thing. I don't know. I probably just have to, like, I mean, do you hang out with him in real life? I mean, if it's just an internet thing, then it's hard for anyone to differentiate what's going on. I think things like the 15 UFO intelligence type person, I don't know what title to give, but that's died or gone missing. He definitely didn't kill himself. Wilcock said he wasn't suicidal. Yeah, he said it multiple times. They're preparing for something, that's for sure. Yeah, it definitely seems that way. I mean, like, the way people make it seem like is like they're sort of like pushing for the World War III scenario, right? Because, like, first it's Venezuela. We're basically cutting off China, right? It's like we preoccupy Russia with this, like, you know, ongoing war that we basically, like, just pay the Ukrainian government to send their people to go die, right? And then we go down to Venezuela, secure that oil, even though it's obviously the crude stuff. But anyways, then you move over to the Gay of Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz, secure that, you know, while also, like, kind of creating that conflict there. And then slowly we're going to be moving over to, like, cutting things off in, like, the other manner in which you would traverse or, you know, transit oil and energy up to China, going further east. And it really does seem like it's all just like a stepwise pattern, like preparing for a larger conflict with, like, China, which is quite strange because, I don't know, it seems like we were, like, very interconnected, but at the same time, it also feels like it's all just, like, leading towards getting completely shit on by China or, you know, I honestly feel like we have the technology in some weird ways to, like, I know, the no new wars thing, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people were just, like, waking up to the fact that it's all just, it was all just a psyop the whole time, like this, like, two-party system nonsense. Like, there's just no possible way to confirm that either side is actually, like, working for you to, you know, not taking bribes from international communities or banking, whatever. It's just, yeah, it's literally just actors acting. The heel, the one person plays the heel. They do the typical sort of, like, synthesis, back and forth, like problem, reaction, solution type thing. But in the case of the two-party system, it's like, it's really just subjective up to you, where, like, the problem is the other party and the reaction is your party, and then they give you the solution, but then it just goes back and forth, you know. It's just one is, you know, give money to other nations and screw you over and blow people up, while the other is give money to other nations, screw you over, blow people up, but they have a gay flag on it. And it's just like, okay, cool, man. Like, it's literally all part of the same show. I mean, you really have to sit there, like, especially on the domestic stuff, like, do you really think that when JFK was killed, or even before that those intelligence agencies are just, like, casually doing their job in the background without finding many countless individual ways to, like, research and consolidate power? No, I mean, it would be idiotic if you suddenly were given the keys of the castle and then you were just, like, played with them nicely. Like, you know, you would go into every room possible trying to figure out exactly how you can take it over. You know, it's just... But anyways, yeah, it feels like we're just in the end game at this point. So, I mean, that's why I think it's probably best for everybody to just enjoy their life as much as they possibly can before things are not pretty. As a result, their souls were doomed to remain in purgatory, leading the Spanish to give the place the full title of the City of Lost Souls. Neither me nor Joe's brother believe the town's name had anything to do with his decision to move there, but it still made for one heck of a fitting name for a man who seemed to have, for lack of a better term, lost his soul. Joe used to be kind, patient, and loving, and made time for his wife and kids too. And then one day, that all changed, and it was like he became a completely different person. But why? I believed at least some of the answer to that question laid down in Los Animus. And so one day, in the summer of 1984, I began the long and tiring process of canvassing public places in the hopes that someone knew where Joe had gone. I started at grocery stores, and since those are the one thing that everyone needs... Oh, Mr. Extremes, you got the #1 crown. I wonder how that works. What's your favorite horror writer? I don't know. I feel bad. I'm not, well read enough to, honestly make any sort of decision as to who's, good at writing. I'm sure, obviously, all the classics like H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King and all that kind of, they're, I've heard their stories. I've seen a lot of their content. Big Dono? Who's a Big Dono? Did I miss one? Sorry. I think it's some kind of dance on how the world likes to be played. Yeah. I mean, it does make us all feel better when we sit there and think that we have a choice in the matter, And then we can blame each other and get mad at our uncles at Thanksgiving and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if you really, had any options, what do you think they would stop at nothing to prevent that. I don't know, a lot of Stephen King books turned into movies, I do believe, yeah. Quite a few. I started at grocery stores, since those are the one thing that everyone needs, and then when I had no luck there, I tried the bars. Now, they're a great place to look for a certain kind of person because they'll sit there for hours, sometimes all night, and bartenders are good with faces. I visited the one closest to where Joe had apparently been staying, but no one there recognized him. And then stopping by another with similar results, I started to worry that no one in Los Animus would recognize Joe at all. But then, at a place called Pete's Fan Zone, I had my first encounter with Lady Luck. It was early afternoon, not long after opening time, and an old-timer with the shakes was sitting at the bar while the bartender was still getting things all set up. I introduced myself as a private investigator from Denver and then showed him Joe's photograph. The bartender then looked at me with this very serious look on his face and asked, "What'd he do?" Now, it turned out Joe had made a few visits in 1983 during the same period that he was thought to have been missing. And then when I asked the bartender if he'd seen him, since he said yes, that he'd come back in late April of 1980... Hey, David dude, thank you for the 5. I'll take it. Nice, bro. Oh, that's what it is, how you get the crown. Now you have the crown. I guess you can just... See? The live stream is representative of the real world. If you want to make it to the top, you just gotta pay your way there. Anyone ever get off Effexor? These withdrawals are brutal. Damn, sorry about that. Not a fan of medication. Hey, Iris, what's up, dude? If you say so, people have been saying the world is going to end since Rome fell. This is exactly why I don't care about anything I can't control. Living in fear of the end times is not worth my time. No, you're absolutely right. There's literally no point in sitting and worrying about things you can't control. Let tomorrow worry about itself. I'm eating chips and salsa. What about you? What's up, nerd? Just being a nerd. Reading nerdy stories. Do you see full names when someone donates? No, it's still just their username. What's your opinions on the new Backrooms movie? It looks cool, I guess. I don't really know much about Backrooms other than the concept just being kind of creepy and supernaturally weird. But I'm pretty curious about it. I probably will see it. The man with the plan. That's not me. I have no plan. Then when I asked the bartender if he'd seen him since, he said yes, that he'd come back in late April of 1984. The bartender said he barely recognized Joe at first. The guy who'd walked through the door almost a year prior had been somewhat well-groomed and had some meat on his bones, whereas the guy who walked in on that day had shoulder-length hair, a fist-sized beard, and looked like he'd lost about 50 pounds. He said he only recognized him by his voice and the brand of beer he ordered, but rather than ask too many questions, he just gave him his beer and change and then left him to sit alone in his booth. Now, about an hour goes by and the bartender assumes Joe's there to think and drink alone, as usual. But then, some creepy-looking guy walks in, skinny as a rake with alopecia, like a walking literal skeleton, and he sits down in front of Joe before the two start talking. The bartender said he was planning on giving them about 10 minutes before he'd walk over and tell that walking skeleton he either needed to buy a drink or leave. But before things came to that, the pair of them just got up and walked out together. Now, I asked the bartender if he happened to overhear anything that was said. He hadn't, but said one of them threw a napkin into a finished glass of beer before they left. He had to scoop the thing out to wash the glass, but before tossing it in the trash, he saw something was written on it. There were two names, neither of which he could remember, but he could remember the number that had been written above. Hey Lucy, what's up, dude? Is the back rooms out already? I don't think so. What's the most disturbing story you've read for the channel? My favorite one is about the crack parkour Santa. That one was pretty funny. Doing like side flips off the building, like between house roofs. Divorce rates are mainly because of repeat offenders. Oh, like people who get married over and over again. There were two names, neither of which he could remember, but he could remember the number that had been written above them in much larger lettering. It read 777. Now, I started to think that it might have been gambling related, but it had to quickly rule that theory out as Joe hadn't so much as touched the joint savings account that he shared with his wife. Whatever he was doing with himself, he didn't need much money to do it, and that obviously made finding him very difficult. And that lead that I got at the Los Animus bar was also just one of the two that I got while I was in town. One was the bartender, the other was Pastor Ed over at the town's Calvary Church. And when I showed him Joe's picture, Pastor Ed told me that he was pretty certain that Joe had wanted to kill him one night. Joe had been a church-going man, at least before he disappeared, which was why I thought shopping by the town's churches might be productive, and it was. Pastor Ed said that he hadn't seen Joe at any of his services. He didn't know that he was even in town until he spotted him while taking his trash out one night back in the spring of 1983. Now, he didn't see Joe at first. He just got himself a little scared when he realized someone was lurking in the shadows nearby. And then when Joe started to approach, Pastor Ed saw the large, mostly empty whiskey bottles in his hands, and the way he was looking at Pastor Ed scared the living hell out of him. Pastor Ed said that as Joe turned the bottle in his hand so he was holding it like a club, he started backing away slowly. He said the bottle was shaking in Joe's grip, and that no matter how hard he tried to calm him down, he just stood there, looking like he was about to launch himself at that pastor, until he finally seemed to regain his senses. Pastor Ed said he turned and walked off, clearly in some kind of distress, but he didn't stick around. He wanted to get the guy help, but he knew any attempt to do so would almost certainly get him hurt. Now, it was also the desire to help which stopped him from calling the police, and instead, he just sat out on his porch for a while, waiting to see if Joe would return. Now, he never did see Joe at one of his services, never saw him again, in fact, And while his stories certainly shed light on Joe's mental state in the months after he left his home, it only seemed to deepen the mystery. No, because how often do you push your cuticles back? I have no idea. Whose cuticles are getting pushed back? Who are pushing their cuticles? The cuticle man. What time is it for me? It is almost 10 p.m. Because of all the people he could have picked, why Pastor Ed? Now, once I was certain Joe was no longer in Los Animus, I drove back to Denver to talk to his brother again. He had a key for a storage container full of Joe's old stuff, all the thing his wife boxed up when she couldn't stand to look at them anymore. He didn't think that there was anything in there worth opening it up for, but I figured that I better take a look, just in case. The client was right in a sense. The vast majority of stuff that was in there were either clothes or books. There were no journals, photographs, or postcards of places he might have once visited. 7 a.m. there, damn. What's up, count to three? Count to three. How do I get all those creepy thumbnails? Someone makes them for me. Pronounce cuticles like a Greek name. Cuticles. Or no, what is it? Yeah, I guess cuticles. That'd be pretty funny. What a hilarious thought. There were no journals, photographs, or postcards of places he might have once visited. Just a whole bunch of shirts and pants and a whole bunch of novels with a handful of other stuff mixed in there, including about half a dozen books on classical Arabic. Now, almost everything from his office and the garage was in there too, including the contents of a trash can containing... Contents of a trash can contained in a trash bag. Like the trash can was exploded and put into a trash bag? Almost everything from his office and the garage was in there too, including the contents of a trash can contained in a trash bag. Now, there was all kinds of junk in there, but nothing but a small leather-bound notebook caught my eye, one that appeared to have been partially burned. I pulled it out and dusted it off, but found that next to none of its contents were readable. Almost every page had been blackened or burned away entirely, but it also looked as if someone had gone to great lengths to ensure only the pages burned. At the time, I thought that maybe someone had regretted setting the pages on fire, and if whatever was in there was so precious they tried to douse the flames, I figured it was worth taking a look at. Now, some might consider that a strange sort of inkling to have, to be sifting through trash when I could be out there putting up missing posters and the like, but if there's one thing being an investigator of any kind teaches you, it's to leave no stone unturned. And on this occasion, turning over that half-burned stone paid off massively. Firstly, I was able to determine that Joe had been using the notebook to translate something. There were no religious texts or anything in his possession, so I doubted it was anything of that nature, but whatever was being translated, it was significant enough that someone had tried to destroy it. I'd first hoped that it'd provide some insight into Joe's state of mind, giving me a clue as to where he might be and what he might be doing, but it did so much more than that, because on the back inside cover, the number 777 had been written, and underneath in smaller letters were the two names the bartender down in Los Animus couldn't recall. And those names were Montford Scott Would I adopt Pradeep if he was bald? Probably not. No bald people around here. So are you going to WrestleMania next year, Pats? Oh. Sorry, yeah. Pats, you said you didn't really have a great time at WrestleMania. Munford. What the fuck kind of name is Munford? Mumford and Sons. Oh man. And those names were Mumford Scott and Meeker Martinez. The first thing I did after finding the notebook was ask the client about his brother's interest in the Arabic language, particularly its classical or pre-Islamic roots. Now, he said he didn't even know Joe was learning another language until months after he started, after an incident in a Lebanese restaurant where Joe thanked a waiter in Arabic. The client said he asked Joe to show off more of his Arabic, but Joe rather meekly explained that the type he was learning wasn't the conversational kind. And to put it simply, it was like Joe was learning Shakespearean English. It sounded great, but the average person on the street in any Arabic-speaking country might not completely understand what the heck he's saying. Now, he was also buying all of these old books, all written in classical Arabic, and working on his own translations of them. The client said a couple of them looked ornately decorated and that Joe seemed embarrassed of the amounts that he spent on them. The client hadn't thought. Hey, Bugs, what's up? Bugs Bunnyatha. I've heard or read that bald cats are very cuddly and affectionate. That sounds like most cats. What's my favorite movie? Maybe like Ghost in the Shell, probably, the anime. I don't know, actually. Yeah, probably that one. That one's good. I was listening to old videos. I had no idea you did collabs with Mortis Media. Oh, yeah, back in the day. KSI has a bald cat. Oh, like completely bald. I thought, okay, like completely hairless, not just no hair on the head. Did you ever watch Creepcast? I don't watch Creepcast, but I've been watching a lot of like the Papa Meat videos. Hey everybody, how's it going? And they're really funny. Just him and his buddy, I think Nick, just chatting back and forth about random silliness, and I'm like, this seems fun. Actually, it's like such a great format because it's literally just like someone writes a script for him. He talks to the script while just kind of like reading it off the cuff. You know what I mean? Like almost like he's reading an internet like he's reading an article. But then him and his buddy Nick just sort of banter back and forth, and then the editor just has fun with whatever they give them. And I'm like, this is kind of a brilliant presentation because you're covering stuff, but you're giving funny commentary, and it's like this is pretty sick. I've been boosting views on your old videos from 8 to 9 years ago. Nice, going back through. How you doing? I know it is fun. Like, it's kind of smart to start every video the exact same way like that. Also, I think his name is Hunter, Papa Me. He says he's 40. I don't believe for a second that he's 40. Or he says he's 41 or something. Like, when I look at him, I'm like, this guy, he looks young. You know, he looks like he's either early 30s or like late 20s. Oh, it's a bit. Okay, he's just being silly. That's fine. I like silly. I'm a big fan of silly. If you start your videos the exact same way every time and get people to doubt that they're on the right episode, view count goes up. Oh, okay. He changes his age every couple of videos. Okay. Which would make sense because it's like he's married. Doesn't really give a shit what anybody thinks, whether he's old or young or whatever. And I guess it generates like comments like these, like, is he 40? Is he 40? What the heck? The client hadn't thought much of this at the time, only that his brother had picked up a new and rather unusual hobby. I myself didn't immediately suspect it of being a symptom or even contributing to Joe's strange new behaviors, because what I really wanted to know was, who the hell was Mumford Scott and Meeker Martinez? The client had no idea. He'd never heard those two names in his life before, but he couldn't rule out them being associates of his brother. Now, some preliminary research of the name Mumford Scott revealed that, assuming Joe had misspelled the name Munford, it might refer to a 16th century Catholic martyr who was executed by the English for the crime of practicing his faith. Catholics were often burned at the stake back then, which made me think that his name and the burned book were somehow connected. But it wasn't Latin he was translating, it was Arabic. And despite him being a church-going man, there were no books in the collection pertaining to Catholicism or Catholic martyrs. Now, I had even less luck with the name Meeker Martinez. It wasn't in any phone books, and there was no notable people with that same name. And even so, I made a note of both, just in case I encountered them in the future. But what I had worked out is that one of the few things Joe had taken with him when he disappeared was his collection of old, rare books. Since they mattered to him that much, I thought that it'd be a good idea to contact rare book dealers around Denver, as well as the wider area, to see if Joe had done any business with them. I ticked off all the major players in the Denver area and then ticked off those in the surrounding states, and I even contacted a group of more specialist dealers, as in those who dealt in pre-Islamic Arabic texts, but was told that not only had they never done business with a Joe, but the prices on some of the older and rarer texts could reach up to 30 grand. Now, it was little wonder in his books were little wonder, Kerr, welcome to the Buttersuck Cult. And David Dude, thank you for the 5 gifters. Welcome, friends. You also now have access to bonus content. Thank you, guys. L story, do a scarier one. Yeah, I think this one's just taking a while to get to something scary here eventually. It's always like the ones that take building up, like you kind of get why they take building up, because it's just like real life. You're doing your thing, you need context, all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I guess you can't really expect like him to get like stabbed by some cult member or something. Paragraph 1. Why don't you get notifications for your live? Probably because I said something bad about politics and then my live stream gets blacklisted or whatever the fuck. All build, no storygasm. A little bit, yeah. Sadly, that seems to be the case here. It was little wonder his books were so precious to him, and I started to wonder if they were a little more relevant to the case than I first thought, as in, were his attempts at translating them just a symptom of whatever he was going through? Or were they the cause? Like I said, I had no luck with any of the rare book dealers I contacted, and it was then that the investigation started to slow. I resorted to contacting churches, as well as some of my old cop buddies, to find out if there had been any similar encounters between Joe and members of the clergy, but again, I had no luck. This is all pre-internet too, so there was no looking somebody up online, and if you wanted to look someone's criminal history up, you had to wait weeks after a phone call to get a letter in the mail. I tried that too, by the way, and once again had no luck. But it was during that barren period that I realized something about. What's up, Hannah? Blue Feather, thank you for the 5 gifters. To Newt Nugs, Grimlock, Lorenz, Senrako, Eternally Horror, thank you. This is why I don't read ancient stuff. I don't know, I came across a black magic book and weirdish started happening and it felt so weird I got rid of it. Yeah, it sounds spooky. I listen to your podcast at work. I feel an actual live is a real treat. Yeah, good to see you. You can see how the cookies are made. Hello, France. Hello, France. Is it true that everybody in France is like rude, or like very much not in the mood to talk to us lowly Americans? S'il vous plaît, Jean-Charles. I don't even know what the story is about. I really try to follow up on what the fuck. I don't know. Some guy went fucking missing, and thus far the only leads he has is that he was studying ancient Arabic and that the number 777 shows up a lot. And I have a feeling that literally nothing's going to happen and it's just going to remain a mystery and I'm going to be fucking mad. But it was during that barren period that I realized something about the number 777. To cover all my bases and in the hopes of sparking a breakthrough, I rented a library book on pre-Islamic calligraphy and scripture. I only got one thing out of it, but it was easily the most unsettling discovery I'd made thus far. There was always something that bothered me about the way Joe had written the number 777 on the side of the book. Shit. There was always something that bothered me about the way Joe had written the number 777 on the inside of his book. Now, the top line on the sevens looked almost curved, but since people quite often have unusual quirks in their handwriting, I didn't understand the significance right away. But while reading through the book, I came across a section on Arabic numbers. It turns out they've had a huge influence on the numbers we still use today. Their small circle 0 is basically a precursor to our own oval-shaped character, and their characters for 1 and 9 are almost identical to the ones we use today. Their number 5 is kind of like a U, and then their number 7 comes in a V shape, but their 6s look almost exactly like our 7s. And not only that, but they have that same curved top line to them, just like Joe's 7 seemed to have on his burned notebook. Now, I'm willing to bet the 7s on the bartender's napkin looked the exact same way, but regardless, it made me realize something. Joe wasn't writing 777. He was using the Arabic numbers. What he was really writing was 666. This obviously added a whole new dimension to the case, as it was now entirely possible that Joe was actually suffering some kind of religious mania. Now, it also lined up with his intimidating encounter with Pastor Ed down in Los Animus, because if he was angry at the church in some tangible or more abstract sense, it stood to reason that he might get drunk and consider assaulting a pastor. But why? What the hell had gone so wrong in his life that he felt the need to do something so awful? Now, a lot of the time, it's a psychological issue, and there ain't no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. But from where I was standing at the time, there might not have been any obvious reason, but the whole thing had this dark rhyme to it, like I was slowly but surely uncovering something much darker than I'd first anticipated. Now, like I said, the investigation had just about ground to a halt by the time I came to the 777 revelation. I'd tried courthouses, DMVs, the National White Pages. I'd even tried one of those old-fashioned I don't know, I guess the guy went through religious psychosis of sorts. This is a long fucking story. E-Spooky. Actually, that'd be a pretty good YouTube channel called E-Spooky, and you just cover, like, internet scary shit. The most edgy number of all time. Spook maxing. Have you ever stopped reading a story midstream? Yeah, I mean, and just never do it again. Yeah, some of them, if they're just like absolutely astoundingly shit. But this story isn't written badly, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like a really slow burn that I'm not really sure is going to have a payoff. And that's the thing too, is like, when it comes to like stories actually being interesting, a lot of people think that somehow the entire build up to your story and one moment of scary is somehow like interesting. But I feel like actually, you know what I mean, like stuff that almost everyone would agree is like spooky would have to be multiple spooky things, you know? Like by this point, halfway through this story, I feel like there needs to have been, but granted, you can't control real life, right? So it just sort of like happens, gives you context, and that's just how these like sort of submission stories work sometimes. But you need some degree of something like interesting occurring, otherwise people's attention spans are just gonna fucking zonk out. some degree of engaging throughout, some reason to like think that this is worth continuing to listen to. Being able to respond in the chat is not just talking to myself is interesting. Oh, no worries. Adam West, Batman himself with a $5. Great channel for my night shift job. I used to hitchhike and ride freight trains with my dog for 7 years. Had some scary stuff happen myself. Yeah, dude, send it in. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, train hopping does sound spooky. Favorite horror film of all time? I mean, I guess this has got to be The Shining, right? I mean, I don't know what else is left. I mean, Hereditary was good, but is it as good as The Shining? I don't really know. I've only really watched Hereditary, I think, one time, and that's all I really needed from it, whereas I feel like The Shining I've seen bits and pieces quite a few times. Maybe because it was on TV. They made a new version of The Shining back in the early 2000s. Oh, I don't think I've seen it. It's probably not great if it's not directed by Stanley Kubes. You have a Shining cardigan with the carpet pattern. Oh, that's cool. I work long days and now I can listen while I still work. Yeah, no worries. Oh yeah, I don't even watch The Exorcist. It's too scary. I can't even look at that lady. I did see Dr. Sleep. I thought Dr. Sleep was kind of stupid. I'll be honest with you. Like, Dr. Sleep just felt like... It felt like they were, like, mixing, like, Harry Potter with some... I don't know. Like, it felt really, really, really... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. But Dr. Sleep genuinely, like, had... it felt nothing at all like the original Shining, and I guess, you know, that was written by him, but it just felt like it was... I don't even know if Stephen King, did he write that? Like, I mean, I guess he did, right? But it just, to me, it just felt like he was trying to turn it into like a Marvel movie or some shit. It just felt so strange. Oh, D-Shore with the 5 says, how is the voice acting going? Not good, no. It's basically given up on that idea. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Like, at one point I thought I was connected with like an agency, you know what I mean, that was going to do something, but then the agency only wanted to interact with me for their connections to my podcast, but really the only thing they wanted from the podcast was to like take consistent, you know, basically parasitically milk money off of the podcast while acting like they were like representing me for something greater. But meanwhile, they did nothing to actually get me anything I, you know, asked for. So it's just kind of like, and they didn't really care. Like, and it just sounds like that's what some agencies are doing, is like more and more of them are trying to procure. It almost basically ends up just becoming very similar to the multi-channel networks. You know what I mean? Like the MCNs back in the day, that like Full Screen, and those ones that say that they're going to do stuff for you, but they just take like X percentage of your AdSense every month or your podcast revenue, and it's just a load of malarkey. And then every time I would like interact with like other voice actors to like ask them how they would do that, they would either be like very gatekeepy about whether or not they would attempt to get you connected to like maybe get an agent or like, you know, get things up, and you know, and then they would say go take classes, and then you would go take classes, and you know, then the people running the classes are just like really unprofessional and fucking stupid, and then or they just wouldn't even show up to teach the class at all or whatever. And then on top of that, it's like the people that actually had successful voice acting careers, like been in multiple video games, multiple animes, they would just end up trying to like sell you a book, sell you a course, sell you something, right? It was very scallywag behavior. So you pay for a class, teacher didn't show up, you just lost the money. Yeah, it was like, I remember like a while back, this is years ago when I was like first doing it, it was like, I took a class, and came to the first class, it was like me and maybe like 10 other people. I'll be honest with you, they all fucking sucked. I'm not even trying to be mean. It was just, they were a bunch of like anime nerds who like have a microphone in their basement, which is what I have, but I'm cool, right? I'm just kidding. But you know, they were nice people, but they were not good at voice acting or becoming different characters or whatever the fuck. And then whenever I had done my monologue, of which like I didn't realize that we had to like prepare until like I got to the class, and the only reason I had time to prepare it was because I got there an hour early because of the time zone difference. And then so I had like an hour to practice this. It was like some bullshit from Shakespeare or whatever the fuck, you know. And so basically I had time, and then I was like one of the last people to go. And when I went, the teacher that taught it was like, he's like, that was fucking amazing. Like he was so stoked. He was like, that was fucking amazing. And I felt really good, and I was just as sick. And then like the next 4 classes for like the subsequent 4 weeks that we had, the teacher just didn't show up. And then if you ever like follow them on fucking social media, they're like, you can just tell they're just like a fucking hot mess, which is fine. Like, I really don't expect a lot of creative people not to be a hot mess at this point, because it's just, that's how people's lives are within the realm of creativity or whatever. Yeah, I forced everybody to retire. Do you ever use sound effects in your stories? Not super frequently. I guess in the Saturn Soul channel you might get some stuff. Do I mime or mine? I'm mime crafting. But anyways, yeah, it was just like, there was just a lot of experiences in the attempt to do like voice acting, as well as like, if you've ever seen all the voice actors that are like big, dude, like some of the biggest motherfuckers in the realm of voice acting, like just incredible amounts of success. You go on their Twitter, and their Twitter is just the most like fucking cringy, like just self-centered, like brain-dead political bullshit you have ever fucking seen. And they're just like full of like so much hate and vitriol and everything that they say. And you're just like, you know, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, this is the peak? This is the peak here? Like, after like years and years and being in tons and tons of shit, this is what you get to be whenever you've had success as an actor, is just a fucking retard? Like, it just, yeah, the worst thing about the voice actors, it's like, they try to do the Hollywood stuff, but because they're like a step below Hollywood, even though they all kind of like low-key want to be that, they like try to mimic it. You know what I mean? They like try to like mimic the Hollywood thing, but they do it in a way that's like amplified, almost like they're trying to say, look at me, I'm actually the good one. I actually agree with all of the stuff you guys say, and I don't deviate at all from any of your hive mind. And in fact, I'm willing to die for the cause. I'm willing to die for the cause. I'm a star. You know, and you're just like, holy fuck, you fucking, yeah, they're literal tryhards who like are just like begging, please let me sell my soul. Please let me sell my soul. Any chance I get, please just take it. Just take the soul. Seems to be a very hard ultra gatekeeping industry to get in now, especially because of AI. Well, yeah, I'm fairly certain that like Crunchyroll has like a fucking massive monopoly on all that shit, and I'm fairly certain that they're heavily expediting a lot of their. I mean, it just makes sense from a business perspective to like heavily expedite the voice acting stuff through AI, right? Maybe a particular voice actor like sells you a carbon clone of like their voice or whatever. I feel like I'm dissing Mark Hamill. No, it's some other ones, but Mark's very talented, but he does come to mind as far as those people where it's like you have all this success, and I guess that's just what happens when you get older, and like that's all you really have to look forward to is getting applause from people with blue hair on Twitter. Like, who fucking gives a shit, man? You're not doing anything. You're not accomplishing anything. You're not like really brightening anybody's world. All you're doing is kind of like exuding all of your insecurities and projections onto like some 2 minutes hate. You know what I mean? Like, just you're basically looking at like a funeral pyre or like a huge sacrificial wicker man and screaming at the wicker man over and over and over again, and then setting the wicker man ablaze, and everybody like chants and blants and wombles and gombles around it like a bunch of fucking animals. And at the end of the day, you realize that you didn't do anything cool. You're just naked at an orgy, and you're embarrassed. They're gatekeeping because it's a niche group. They're protecting their jobs by trying to keep others out, which is totally fine. Like, I understand why they're doing it, but I just kind of thought, like, I remember doing a brief interview with like someone who had quite a bit of voice acting experience in like gaming, and I just figured like when she would see that I had 1 million subscribers on YouTube, maybe listen to my voice, that she would be like, oh wow, that's cool. Even just like a remote compliment, in the same way that I had complimented her success within video game animation voicing, and she did not give a fuck. Like, I had to pay money just for the opportunity to pay her money, you know what I mean? It's like you got to go through one paywall to then pay her a paywall for her to be like, oh, I don't give a fuck about you, buy my book, or you know what I mean, take my class. You know, it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's just a money. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, you got to make money, and I'm just thankful that YouTube worked out, even in its sort of like medium size that it has. Like, it's a huge blessing to have a really abstractly not normal job. Take over the voice acting world by forming a union and making it exclusive as fuck. Yeah, it's just me, the Joel Union. I've tried courthouses, DMVs, the National White Papers. Whoops. Voice Actors Guild, VAG. Are you guys joining VAG? Like I said, the investigation had just about ground to a halt by the time I came to the 777 revelation. I tried courthouses, DMVs, the National White Pages. I even tried one of those old-fashioned crisscross directories, which allow me to get in touch with Joe's old neighbors down in Los Animus. But no one had seen or heard of him. He didn't need to leave the US to go off the grid, but it still felt like there was a chance that he'd left the country entirely. Those religious fixations sometimes end up in Rome or Israel or even further afield, and then the missing show back up on their loved one. Oh. And then the missing show back up on their loved one's doorstep in Hare Krishna Orange, and having changed their names to Rajneesh or something. A true story, by the way, and a case that I worked on personally, so possibility was still on my mind when, on a sunny Sunday afternoon, I got a call from my brother up in Greeley. Now, he had a grandson who was about to start elementary school, and then since it was a Sunday, my niece and his son-in-law were over with the two kids, and they'd been complaining about trying to get their eldest into this one particular school. My brother's passing all of this. Are you open up to any voice acting, Joel, in video games or books and movies? Yeah, I'm like completely open to it. It'd be a dream to do it. I just like genuinely do not know where or what to do to like make any of that happen. Joel, don't they already know you already own you soul here, cannot sell what you own. For show. You ever tricked your mom with voice acting, Joel? No, but she is pretty. It's funny. It's like I really don't do any of my jokey joke stuff around my parents because I don't know. Like they don't really get they get sarcasm. They laugh at stuff, but more oftentimes than not, it's like I make a joke and it's like kind of like confusing to them why I would say something like that. If you have voice acting, reading, narration lessons and offer them on something like a learning Joel, if you had voice acting, reading, narration lessons, yeah, I mean, I've heard people say, like, you got to start, ways to make money is you could start, like, a class, sell the course, whatever, but I don't want to do that. Like, when people ask me to, like, pay for my time to teach them how to do YouTube, bro, YouTube is like a fluke. Like, I can't even get the same amount of people to come to my live stream that I did, like, 2 weeks ago because I changed one fucking like little thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I had to start YouTube all over again, which I kind of did with like Saturn Soul, even that came to like a pretty quick like grounding. Like there's no like obvious and clear like super progression the way that people want things to be, and you just got to do it yourself and hope that you get to be one of the randoms who like pop off, you know what I mean? What's up, Just Mask? How we doing? My brother's passing all this on while sitting in his armchair, mostly to get a rest from all that grandchild energy that was probably making his head spin. And then he suddenly mentions the name of the schools. And then he suddenly mentions the name of one of the schools, Scott Elementary. It was the school that they didn't want their kid going to, and having recently done so much It was the school they didn't want their kid going to, and having recently done so much reading on the martyred Montford. Boop says, I'll hook you up with some guy that knows some guy about voice acting. Sure, man. Yeah, it's no pressure either way. I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be a fun little thing to do. And I mean, I just want to know what it's like to exist. I mean, it would be so sick to be on a fucking, just on a show, you know what I mean? But I guess it would require probably some moving and all that kind of stuff to be within like range of a studio. I get it. It's also YouTube not notifying when you go live. Yeah, I just don't understand why. Like, how do you tell YouTube, like, hey, listen, YouTube, live streams, right? Live streams notifications should be on a much more in-your-face basis compared to, you know, the fucking normal videos. Like, I get it with normal videos, you can, like, notify people later, they can get to it later, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know, I feel like live stream you need a very large influx of people notified, like right as soon as things kick off. It was the school they didn't want their kid going to, and having recently done so much reading on the martyred Munford, I'd be lying if I said my ears didn't prick right up. Now, my brother said something about how below standard it was, and how my niece wanted her son going to a much nicer school in their district. Now, I guess someone was walking by at the time, because he suddenly spoke off the handset saying, "What was the name of that other school, sweetie?" And then he brought the handset to his mouth again and said, Meeker. Meeker Elementary. You heard of it? Susie says it's top in the state. If hearing Scott picked up my ears, hearing Meeker had full-on alarm bells going off in my head. There was only one place that I'd ever heard or seen that name in my life before, and it was on the inside cover of Joe's burned-up notebook. I asked my brother if he was absolutely positively certain that he'd gotten those two names right, Scott and Meeker Elementary Schools. And then after he double-checked, he told me the names were correct, and I told him... Like, if I'm subbed to 100 channels, they'll show me notifications for the top 5. I watch most per se, otherwise my notification bell would flood my screen. Yeah, that makes sense too. It's just weird because it's like there was people that were interested in this stream, it seemed like a while ago, and then it just falls off, and a lot of people say that I don't get notified even though they clearly want to be in the stream, and it's just like there needs to be another notification that you can set that just like absolutely 100... Wait, what does it say? When someone subscribes to YouTube, it sets it to personalized by default, which won't notify you on the live streams. Okay, so you like definitively have to go into the settings and set it to like all. Change notifications from personalized to all. There you go. Hey Thomas, what's up, bro? Today I was listening to one of your old lives. You said wart, and I laughed out loud. Now I'm the weird guy. It's all good. Normally, we get a wart at least once a stream. Ooga booga. And then after he double-checked and told me the names were correct, I told him I had to go, but that I might just call him back again to ask a favor. He asked if it was a work thing, and I said yes, and he said, well, all right then, and then I hung up the phone. I kept a detailed roadmap of Colorado in my office, one of those that's broken down into a book. I kept a detailed roadmap of Colorado in my office, one of those that's broken down into a book with pages so you can see all that detail without having to fold the thing out. I found Greenlee, found my brother's house, and then looked around until I found Meeker Elementary. Scott Elementary was close by, then after searching the wider area, I felt my heart begin to race as I suddenly spotted a Munford Elementary. The seconds later, popped in to do that algorithm. Bye, y'all. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Karen. Good to see you. If you had a crocodile, what would you name it? And would you still love it if it was a worm? I would feed it worms. I wonder if alligators could survive on worms. I know they have to eat bugs when they're really tiny. Isn't it so crazy? I would love to, track from the time a gator is young to the point when it's, fucking 20 feet long or something. If they could do a Planet Earth style documentary of following the life of an alligator for every year of its life until it was fucking massive, that would be sick. Hey Matthew, good to see you. I guess it would take 20 years. Maybe they're doing it right now. Did you know that crocodiles never die of old age? Really? So they have no idea how crocodiles usually die. It's just we gotta look this up. This seems too good to be schnoo. From a Westerner, it was a bit hard to catch you when you first switched to the earlier live streams. Maybe just put it in the main page. Yeah. How long can crocodiles live for? Most crocodiles live 40 to 70 years in the wild, depending on the species. Can they live even longer? Yes, in captivity, where there are no predators, steady food, and veterinarian care. Some crocodiles have been documented to live 80 to 100 years. They don't have a really fixed aging limit like mammals. Crocodiles exhibit something close to negligible senescence. They age very slowly, and many only die from injury or disease, competition with other crocodiles, environmental stress. Crazy. So they could technically live forever? Short answer, no. They can't live forever, but they can live a very long time compared to most mammals. Crocodiles like saltwater crocodile and Nile crocodiles show close to negligible sentience, meaning they don't visibly decline the way mammals do. They keep growing slowly throughout life. Their fertility and strength don't drop off sharply with age. Oh, fascinating. They're like the Hugh Hefner of reptilians. Lynn, thank you for the gifter, too. Just Mask does wrestling. Welcome. Scott Elementary was close by, and then after searching the wider area, I felt my heart begin to race as I suddenly spotted a Munford Elementary, and then seconds later, a Martinez Elementary School. Either this was the biggest coincidence I'd ever encountered or even heard of, or the names Joe wrote down weren't the names of people. They were the names of 4 elementary schools in the city of Greeley, Colorado. I called my brother right back and asked if he minded me sleeping in his spare room that following night. I might not need to, but if I even got so much of a whiff that Joe was in Greeley, then it was better to have somewhere local that I could lay my head rather than have to drive an hour each way to commute. The next morning, I was up in Greeley, and the first place that I stopped was Meeker Elementary, just minutes away from my niece's place. I parked my car, got out, and took a look around to see that there was no sign of Joe anywhere. Not that I expected there would be, but as I walked around the block, I spotted something which made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Spray painted on the side of the school, with a janitor actually in the process of scrubbing it off with some soap and a wire brush, was what appeared to be the number 777, but what I now know meant 666. I then raced over to Scott Elementary, where I found the same graffiti on a wall near the parking lot. It was the same story as Martinez and Munford too, and I just knew that either Joe or the associate that he meant in Los Animus bar had something to do with it. Now, the first thing I did was call the local police department, and after making it clear that I was a former cop, I told them some of Joe's story and why I believed the children at all 4 elementary schools could be in danger. The deputy I spoke to seemed only too happy to take a description of Joe, but when I tried to convince him of the number 777's significance, I could tell I was losing him a little. He said they'd been dealing with 777 graffiti all over town for weeks by that point, and they were confident that it was affiliated with some kind of up-and-coming local gang who were targeting schools as a sort of recruitment method. I tried convincing him that the number had some kind of religious, maybe even satanic significance, and that the graffiti might have been sprayed by a man who'd already almost attacked a priest down in Los Animus. I don't blame the officer for having the reaction he did. What I was saying would have sure as hell sounded crazy to me, back when I was just a uniformed desk jockey. And so when I told him that it might be an idea... My gosh. What the fuck is going on, bro? What the fuck is this story, bro? I mean, it's now kind of getting interesting, but like... I don't know. A freaking desk jockey. A chicken jockey. It literally does feel like a trolling story. Like, I actually feel like... Because we are at, like, the last fourth of this story, and I'm genuinely expecting it, like, just nothing to happen, and that it was just a legitimate wild goose chase. Man. Do I pre-read them? I mean, the editors do, but I mean, obviously private investigator type stuff is probably hard to come by, so if this is what is compiled in it, it's like, it's still interesting, but it's like, I don't know, I just, like, I don't even remember, did a priest get beat up or something? That probably would have made it interesting if, like, the priest actually got attacked. If there was, like, a series of attacks or something, but I don't think the priest even got attacked. I'll send you a story if I want to have been turned down by a pseudopod before. What's a pseudopod? Will you ever do almost killed stories? Yeah, tomorrow. Do you give them a psychological evaluation before reading them? Yeah, I usually put them through multiple stress tests. So when I told him it might be an idea to evacuate, maybe a good idea. So when I told him it might be a good idea to evacuate the schools and keep them empty until Joe had been found, he told me that probably wasn't going to happen. And by probably, he meant definitely wasn't going to happen. He assured me all the town's schools had robust safety measures and could liaise with city law enforcement in the event that some crazy guy tried to gain access. He wasn't dismissive at all, almost like he wanted to reassure me that I had nothing to worry about. But as you can probably imagine, nothing he said did anything to reassure me. Either Joe or one of his mysterious affiliates was almost certainly in town, and while I didn't know exactly what they were planning, the fact that they were targeting elementary schools gave me a terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I did my usual thing of stopping by any churches I could find to ask if they had any sort of strange or frightening encounters with anyone, but none had. And I also stopped by an old antique store that they had in town, which just so happened to have a sizable cache of old books. But the owner had no recollection of anyone asking for old Arabic texts or of anyone stopping by who fit Joe's description. I ended up staying with my brother that night, but while he was kind enough to let me sleep in his spare room on that old, big, comfy mattress that he had in there, I don't think I slept for more than a couple of hours. I remember the one dream that woke me up. Is Joe trying to avenge those forgotten conquistadors? fuck, man, I forgot about that part. I have no fucking clue what's going on, bro. And usually it's like you can kind of get a vibe of like where things are heading, but like I just have no fucking clue what I should even be excited to happen. I genuinely kind of have a feeling that they're never going to find Joe, and it was just a series of a crazy guy writing 777 on things because he went nuts, and then that's fucking it. Joey from Let's Read is in this story. I remember the one dream that woke me up. Startled. How the schools were on fire, and how no matter how much the fire department tried to hose them down and douse the flames, little kids kept on bursting from the doors in flames and running around like little torches, and no one could put them out. Around 6:30 in the morning, I decided it was useless to try and get back to sleep, so I got up, took a shower and got dressed, and then drove into town to find somewhere to have breakfast. It was a Friday morning and the place was pretty busy, so I had to park my car a block away and walk to the diner. I spent about an hour and a half sitting at the table taking advantage of the free coffee refills while poring over my notes regarding the case. Sometimes just ruminating on a subject helps with a breakthrough, and sometimes not, and unfortunately on this occasion, I left the diner with nothing but that bad feeling in my stomach, telling me something was going to happen that day. I thought about calling the cops again, of doing everything shy of demanding that they close the schools for the day, but I knew that I'd just sound twice as crazy as I did the day before. And all I had was my hunch, and no matter how long I worked as a cop or how big it was, a hunch was still just a hunch. It must have been about 8:30 in the morning by the time I started walking back to my car, and with every step, I was trying to put myself in Joe's shoes. If I'm in town, am I in a motel, or am I sleeping in a car or out under a bush someplace because I don't want to... See, dude, this is like where the story should have began. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, the story really could have just began with some like basic preamble of like the previous town, and then jumped right into it with like the 666 shit. I don't know, man. Because like, what the fuck? Like, we're on page 24 of 30, and literally nothing had, like, and I assume nothing will occur, like, because you would almost need like some degree of climax here to like follow up on, or it's fucking bad. Can I edit it though? I don't think so. But they wrote a book, but like a book that, like, usually if you're writing a book, but I guess like if it's a real life journal book, like sometimes life is just like not that exciting. It's like mildly interesting. If I'm in town, am I in a motel, or am I sleeping in a car or out under a bush someplace because I don't want to be found? Did I mark those schools out for some kind of attack, or had I deluded myself into thinking that I put some kind of magical spell on them? That's if Joe was even still there and he hadn't just packed up and moved on like he'd done back in Los Animus. Now, I was just chasing shadows, or was I really onto something? Now, all that's going through my head as I'm walking, and then as I'm only about maybe 20 or 30 feet away from my car, a man walks around a corner in front of me and starts walking in my direction. He's tall, skinny, with long hair and a long beard, and has a ball cap on with the peak pulled low. Now, I wasn't obvious about it, but I tracked a little closer to him, hoping to catch a glimpse of his face as he passed me. I remember scolding myself a little, thinking that the case was getting to me, and I was about to initiate a confrontation with a completely unrelated homeless guy. But as he passed me, I recognized him in an instant. The majority of his face might have been covered by all that hair, but I'd been looking at pictures of that man for weeks by that point, so there was something about his nose and eyes that clicked with me immediately. It was Joseph, the client's missing brother, and he just walked right past me. At first, I was too stunned to even say anything. I've been scouring the state of Colorado for that guy for a month, and Then there he goes, walking past me one sunny Friday morning like I hadn't spent the last 3.5 weeks fixating on his whole freaking existence. I think he found him, guys. Right whenever we were about to check out, I think they found the guy. I'm anticipating a chase scene at this point, and then losing him in a sewer. That's what I'm guessing. It's going to be a chase scene, they lose him in a sewer, and that's the end of the fucking story. God, dude, what the actual fuck? Oh my god. Has anyone run up a mountain here with buckets of water? That does sound pretty cool. Oh, that would be such a good challenge. Make it to the top of a mountain with buckets of water, and at the top they measure how much water you have, and if you have the most, you win whatever stupid survivor challenge. It's a book 1 of book 99. Probably. This is a series, an ongoing series. I've been scouring the state of Colorado for that guy for a month, and then there he goes walking past me one sunny Friday morning like I hadn't spent the last 3.5 weeks fixating on his whole damned existence. Now, I didn't want to spook him right away, so I just called out, "Sir," in a polite voice. He didn't stop. I'm guessing on the assumption or hope that my call wasn't directed at him. But as I began to follow him, I called out a second time. On that occasion, he stopped and turned. I asked if his name was Joe, but he said nothing in reply. Then, to try and earn at least a thread of trust and understanding, I told him I was there on behalf of his brother, our client. Then, prompted. That prompted a flash of recognition in his eyes, but still he didn't say anything, and he waited until I'd finished a short explanation on why I was looking for him before asking, "Are you a Fed?" Now, I had already touched on the fact that I was just a PI, but after feeling somewhat taken aback by that question, I reiterated that I was not there in a law enforcement capacity. Joe listened, but there wasn't the same flash of recognition. He just stared at me, almost like he wasn't really listening anymore. Now, it was then that I was... You ever read a story with a crappy ending and still post it, or do you completely not bother? I mean, if I make it through 30 pages of a story, I'm fucking posting it, because in my mind, I'm like, well, it's gonna be like ASMR for fucking somebody. Somebody's gonna want to jerk their chicken to this shit, you know, but at the end of the day, you can't win them all. You can't have every story be the most interesting thing in the world. You don't know if this is really badly edited, but it's like repeating itself. Which part's repeating itself? I'm going to repeat, obviously, because I'm recording. Definitely a chicken jerker. Chicken jerker. It was then that I fulfilled his brother's request that I invite him to make a phone call, just so he could hear his voice as a kind of proof of life. But Joe didn't seem too excited on that idea at all. He repeated the question back to me, asking if I wanted him to go with him. And that's what I meant when I say that it was almost like he wasn't listening, that his mind must have been somewhere else. He was only giving me half of his attention, and he made that evident by looking around as if I was... What is that? He repeated the question back to me, asking if I wanted him to go with him. Did he even ask that? It does seem really repetitive. Yeah, I mean... Especially since, like, most of it was just kind of erroneous searching. I mean, I guess that's what you would do as a PI, but my god. Did anything cool happen? Why would the feds be looking for Joe? How bad is the psychotic episode? I don't know. I mean, if he is psychotic, maybe he just thinks people are out to get him or whatever. The government. AI written slop? I don't think it's AI written slop. It doesn't feel like AI, but it could quite literally be AI written slop. Who knows, man? He repeated the question back to me, asking if I wanted him to go with him. And that's what I mean when I say it was almost like he wasn't listening and that his mind must have been elsewhere. He was only giving me half of his attention, and he made that evident by looking around as if I might have backup or something close by. I repeated that yes, I wanted him to come with me at the request of his brother, but seeing as I wasn't a cop or agent or anything, he could just simply refuse and walk away. But I didn't get past the cop part because as soon as I said it, Joe pulled a gun and fired at me 3 times. I wasn't defenseless. I had a concealed carry permit for the state of Colorado, and when Joe reached like he did, I knew he was going for a gun. So when I went for my... okay. Alright, finally. Fucking... Jesus Christ. I started blasting. I'm a goofy goober. Oh, has anyone played that game, Pragmata? The more recent game, the more it's like a new game. What are Joel's key phrases? Just slurs. I'm surprised Joel wasn't winded by the story. It's taken him 2 hours to read it. Holy fuck, you're right. What's up, Silk? Yeah, it's taking a toll on me. Trying my best. Oh. I was watching a friend play Pragmata. It looked pretty cool. Yeah, what kind of game is it? It looks like it's like action, but it's... Somebody says it's puzzle. So I wasn't really sure what... It's basically Banjo-Kazooie, because the one's the bear and the other on the back is like the bird. The little girl's the bird. It's like a the game is a the story is like a marathon. I mean, honestly, this might be a record for longest story I've read on the channel where literally nothing has happened. I wasn't defenseless. I had a concealed carry permit for the state of Colorado, and when Joe reached like he did, I knew he was going for a gun, and so I went for mine too. Sadly, he beat me to it, on account of him having the jump on me though, not because of my age, and I was still fast enough to put one of my 3 shots into him, but he put 2 of his own into me. The first shot caught me as I tried to twist away from him, lodging its way against the bone in one of my arms. If it had punctured through, it might have got my lungs or some of the larger blood vessels in my chest, which would have been really bad news for me. The second shot hit me in the thigh, just above the knee, missing my femur and femoral. You playing Horizon Zero Dawn? 10 out of 10 recommend. Nice, that's cool. I heard good things about it. Hey, Supernova, what's up? You read a very, very long story some months back. Yeah, which one was that? Femoral. I guess it'd be femoral, but sometimes people say femoral. Femoral artery. Femoral. Oh, femoral. What's up, Star Patrick? Instagram is stressed the crap out of you. What happened? I'm on late, but I love listening to you. I will be asleep soon. I will definitely give that game a go and let you know what I think. Sweet, yeah. Appreciate that. I'm just curious. I'm still playing through Super Meat Boy. It's kind of taking my time with it, though. Not really super invested to like bang it out too fast. So it's like every day, just a couple of levels or 1 or 2. I heard some dude was complaining about not being able to see more skin on the little girl robot character in that game. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. Like, listen, the number one way if you want to sell a game to people is to get them talking about it by acting like that there's some sort of contentious, left versus right or whatever, you know what I mean? Like Gooner versus non-Gooner sort of controversy about it, And so that's kind of what the discourse is around the current game, because like there's always going to be these YouTubers, and I'm not any different, but it's like there's always going to be these YouTubers that like pick up on some story where some, you know what I mean? Because just think about that idea. I heard, right? You heard some dude, so some ambiguous guy was complaining about not being able to see more skin on the little girl robot character. Like, it's like such an ambiguously weird thing that like it just in and of itself generates like such a mysterious controversy in your mind of someone being like a pedophile or something who plays the game, you know? So it's just like, and then gets people talking about the game and then arguing and then, oh, just the, you know, it's like, that to me is like the viral marketing that's almost like ingenious with a lot of like when games come out, is that if you want a game to sell, make a decent game, right? Baseline. But then it's almost like there's an entire marketing team who's like, okay guys, we got to create some like stupid fucking thing that everybody can complain about. Like, do you remember when like Mouthwashing came out, that horror game that was, you know, kind of similar to The Shining in its like story presentation? I think I played it on stream. It was fine. You know, it was a fine horror game. But then because one of the artists or something were like pissed that someone like Asmongold had played it, it therefore generates a lot of like negative press towards it, but like also positive press because the game itself is good. So I don't know, that's like such, I mean, that's honestly what we've been dealing with for the past decade plus, is just like hyper division, you know, and familiarity with the topic solely based on the fact that these two ambiguous sides are arguing about it in some open-ended manner. I don't know, it's so stupid. Gooner bait, you know, make politics go on. I don't even know if it's gooner bait, really. I mean, it's like a little girl robot, right? You know, it's like and I'm pretty sure she's wearing like a sundress, and I don't know, man. Who even gives a shit? If the game's like fucking fun, that's really the only thing that people should be concerning themselves with. All the other stuff that people might bitch about, they're probably not going to play it anyways. But if it gets more eyes to play a game, then yeah, whatever. It's just, I don't know, the idea of like buying a game solely to support something because you like dislike the people that have something against it, like a product, that's like such a weird reason to be invested in like a game. The same video game I played was The Hobbit on the original Xbox 10 years ago. I miss it sometimes. I didn't even know that came out. A Hobbit game. Oh, the last game you played. Oh shit. That is a long time ago for a last game. The second shot hit me in the thigh, just above the knee, missing my femur and femoral artery by the width of a finger. I went down hard as Joe turned and ran, and that's when I fired my last shot, the one that hit him, but then I knew that I had to check my own wounds, as just seconds mean life and death if you have an arterial bleed. Now, luckily, I didn't seem to have one. There was no spray, just a heavy seep from my arm and thigh, and I was also lucky that someone in a house... No, I was also lucky that someone in a home close by had heard the shots, meaning an ambulance was on its way by the time that I was trying to tie a tourniquet around my leg using my own necktie. I was conscious, then... Did you hear about those dumplings? What dumplings? I was conscious when the paramedics arrived, and they worked fast to apply pressure dressings and an actual tourniquet. And then, after they drove me to the hospital, they put me under, and I went into the OR for surgery. I woke up in the recovery room with my arm strapped to my chest and my leg elevated, and I was still in pain, but at least by then I had the morphine to stave it off. I was told Joe had been arrested and was actually in the very same hospital that I was, recovering from surgery to remove the bullet from his hip. Only unlike me, Joe was handcuffed to his hospital bed. I later heard the cops searched his motel room and found half a dozen different firearms, big and small, 2 entire bags worth of ammunition to go with it all. Now, there weren't any floor plans of the schools or anything, so the cops failed to make some connection that I did when I heard about all those guns and all that ammo. So in the end, all they charged him with was attempted murder for what he did to me. I tried telling him. As a Joel myself, it brings me to joy to see another Joel out there prospering, doing Joel things. Thank you. Honestly, I don't think I've never met a Joel that I didn't like, you know. I feel like Joel's, or Joe, well, maybe not Joel's, but Joel's definitely, you know, are held to a higher standard, I think, in life, and usually they tend to meet that standard to the best of their abilities, sir. Private Joel, reporting for duty, sir. Here to entertain. What did it feel like? But the honest question, though, what did it feel like, the Crayon God, Joel 2? What did it feel like growing up as a Joel? Did you feel like the name... Did it make you... Did it affect how you viewed yourself at all? Did you feel soft? Like, because Joel's a very soft name. It's a very disarming name. Hello, it's Joel. You kind of like roll. Joel's rolling the name, you know. It's just like if you had like a signature, it starts with a big J and it's just like like into the distance, maybe echoing a little bit with a bit of reverb. It's crazy sometimes I'm listening to your stories and fall asleep. I literally start dreaming about what you're saying. It's a crazy ass feeling. You ever done that? I think a lot of people have, yeah. The only Joel I know is schizophrenic. See? At least he's interesting. Certainly not a criminal, I bet. Or certainly not rude. My name means sea urchin in Italian. Hell yeah. Not as soft as the Joel I went to high school with. He said Joel is the Lexus of the Joe names. Let's go. The Joel you knew was a mechanic. See, he's serving society. He's doing his thing. He's Joel Embiid. He's in the NBA. Look at those guys. You're not going to find a Joel who's dead. We're all doing something. Oh, wow, you actually picked up on that Dark Crystal reference. That's actually insane. The Skeksis. Yeah. Damn. You guys know. I have a friend named Joel, but it's French, so it's Noer. What the fuck? They pronounce J's like N's? Yeah, quite a bit. It's not a name that people typically associate with badass type, but it was always annoying as fuck having a name that can rhyme with so many insults. Joel the Hole. They used to call me that whenever I would man the glory hole at the local truck stop. Joel the Hole, reporting for duty, sir. I was always wanting to join the military, but all I ended up doing was pleasuring long-haul truckers at gas stations. I sent you an email with your garbage. Okay, perfect. I tried telling them to look at my notes because they might be able to pin a whole mess of conspiracy to murder charges on him, but in the end, it was easier to go for the sure shot than the Hail Mary. And my recovery took months. The doctors said that because of my age, my clavicle was knitting back together much slower than it would for a younger man, and this meant that for a whole 6 weeks I couldn't lift my left. Hey, D-Shore. Is Kitty Cat okay? He is, man. He is. What are you doing? You forgot about me? I'm right here. Like, as I have like curtains here, I pulled them open to look at him, and he was like rolling onto his back to get comfortable as I checked on him, and then he like looked at me like almost surprised, like he forgot that I was in here doing stuff. You're cute. Beautiful clavicles. Do I have Instagram? Yeah, that's like my primary social media at letsread.official. I can post my whenever I'm going. Well, I post pictures of Pradeep there for the story, but I also post when I go live on there on my story. Did you ever watch the show on the Dark Crystal? I wish they kept going. Oh, there's a show. It's called Fern Gully. What's the TLDR of this story? I guess you're gonna have to listen to all of it tomorrow when the video comes out. This meant that for a whole 6 weeks, I couldn't lift my left arm above shoulder height. Now, the nights were the worst because that's when the pain was the worst, but it wasn't just the pain pills that brought relief. It was the comfort of knowing what I'd stopped. I know what Joe was planning, but I'll never truly know why he was fixing to do something so terrible. I don't know if it was something that he read in that old book of his that made him want to do it, or if it was merely a symptom of a diseased mind. I just know that if I had to take those 2 bullets so that all those kids didn't, it seems like a fair enough trade to me. TLD. Well, you see, yeah. I mean, if there was literally any sort of like other like points, because I mean, like, think about it. If you're a stand-up comedian, right? Now, granted, this is real life, so it's not a stand-up comedian story. But in like a stand-up comedian stories, like they usually have like, it usually goes funny, funnier, punchline, right? So it's like a build up. You know, you got kind of like keep people entertained. And I kind of wish this story had like anything of excitement happen like during the first 8/10 of it. You know what I mean? My dad was named Joe, but only my mom called him that. Other people just called him Bill. His real name was William. Too long didn't read. Too long did actually read, and not stoked about it. Should I have dandelion tea tonight? I heard it was really good. I heard some sort of like dandelion extract or some shit is good for cancer. I don't know. Is our attention span dying? Dude, mine's been dead for years. The fact, like, literally me sitting here reading these stories with you is a testament to having even a remote amount of attention. And really, I don't pay attention the whole time because I'm yelling at you guys the whole time. And then I'm talking about the Dark Crystal. Showing the Dark Crystal shows what happened before the movie came out. Okay. And then there was a second movie too, right? So a recipe for dandelion cookies. Vocal stimming. Guys, can we, when I say stupid shit, can we not call it vocal stimming? I actually don't like that when you just like say silly things as like an aside or a silly noise. I don't like that they came up with a term for that. I'm gonna unlearn that. I'm just gonna make noises. Like, roasted dandelion is pretty good. I do like to mix it with other aromatic teas. Vocal stem is a vocal stem. Oh my god. Stemception. They didn't come up with a term, they're inaccurately using it. Oh yeah. Because like I do like silly things like that. And then when I think I was saying the last time out, like last Sunday, I was with my buddy and his girlfriend, and he just like says some stupid shit, but a lot of the times it might be like referencing a previous like old, you know, an old joke, inside joke between me and him or something we said earlier. You know, you just throw it in there from some time. Just say like, you know, you just say you do the comedy, whatever it might be, you just throw it in there. But then her being like, you're vocal stimming, and she works in like the psychology field, and I'm just like, just shut the fuck up, please. Just shut up about I hate psychological labels. I think they're probably one of the most like boxing in concepts anybody could ascribe to another human, though I do understand to a certain degree of uses, but I think we just like have way, honestly, I think, to be honest with you, I've gotten to the point where I genuinely feel like a lot of psychology is just fucking pseudoscience bullshit. Like this all INFJ nonsense, to me, is literally about as exciting as fucking astrology, and about as accurate too. Everybody just wants to like mentally imprison another human being. Have I been to Las Vegas? No, my one friend goes all the time though. Hey man, my wife is a psychologist. Well, give her a kiss for me and tell her she's an CUTIE. You just don't get it, L-take. Yeah, I guess so. But I still disagree with you. But agree to disagree. They consider me my personality chart says I'm a POOP. A poop shit. Alright, it's only informative on a high level in predicting choices people will make and people use it to try and control others. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess you could think about it as like MK Ultra. Like, I'm sure MK Ultra like probably cracked the pattern of the human mind to the point of like controlling them. Oh, right, that's exactly what you just said too. And you know, I could see it on like the government level, like psychology and like predictive patterns being something. Even some of the crazier stuff, like the length of your ring finger compared to your index pointer finger, predicting what kind of person you're going to be based on like the amount of testosterone you had available to you in like utero. Things of that stuff like make sense to me and is pretty interesting, but I don't know. Some of the other like sort of more ambiguous labels just seem like a fucking waste of words. Clockwork Orange, yeah. The thing I say when I'm angry and if I yell at my husband, we crack up a bit and say, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. That's pretty funny. You don't need mind control. Lie to people enough and they'll believe it. That's true. You lie to people and then you tell them to lie to the other people, and then you tell them if they don't believe the lie, you should shame them. And then after they go through that, they just sit there and pretend that they never did any of that. Honestly, the human mind is really fascinating. Like, I'm not joking when I say, like, after observing the past, like, 10 years, you have people in your existence that, due to whatever the government tells them, eventually, they will turn you into, like, a FEMA camp or put you up against a wall to, like, shoot you because you had a bad idea or something, or labeled a domestic terrorist. And there will be like hundreds of thousands of people dead, right? Or whatever, maybe millions. And then like 2 months later, everyone was like, geez, that was a weird time. But then also pretend that they just like never did any of that. I guess that's just a manner in which to like cope. That happened before me as well, just gaslighting someone and then making them ostracized by others. It's so stupid, man. The banned books. What are the good banned books? The first PI job I ever worked was for a firm down in my native Southern California. Oh. Did I read 1984? I did read 1984. I actually read it relatively recently as well, and yeah, it's I don't know. What's that one quote? I want to read that one quote. I just like the idea. What is, like, okay, what is that one? 1984. Oh yeah, this one. This one was like the most relatable, I thought, in the sense that like okay, hold on a second. Actually, how old is the main character from 1984? 1984. But have you read its sequel, 1985? Widowy, 1985. He's old enough to have faint memories of life before the party took full control, but still young enough to be trapped within its system. His physical condition, age late 30s. So he'd probably... Oops. No, there's shit. Sorry. Winston, yes. Winston. I like to imagine Winston from Overwatch was the main character. Just looking for a banana and peanut butter. I read Lord of the Flies over the same, and oh my gosh, yeah. And then there's Julia. Julia's the girl. Isn't uncover the truth, her. Let's see. Sorry. I just gotta gather some info on the characters before I read the quote. Never explicitly states. Yeah, like, yeah, so they're like, he's like 10 years older than her or something like that, but this quote in it, like very early, or it's like, it's always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies, and nosers out of unorthodoxy. And I feel like that was like, it kind of reminded me of you know, the past like decade, where it's like a lot of like the sort of like TikTok lassies who, you know, like a lot of their like political movements, they sort of like move in tandem with each other, right? You know what I mean? Like there's really not a lot of deviation from each other's beliefs, and if they do deviate from each other, they get like kind of like scared that they might get ostracized from their friend groups, so they kind of oftentimes just like kind of you know, coalesce with whatever the group is desiring. And I don't know, I very much heavily related, I think, to Winston, because it's like that sort of thing where it's like Winston had nothing about like Julia that like made him necessarily like happy, you know, mainly because of her like strict adherence to like the you know, political sentiments of the party, you know, of the state. But she was hot. You know what I mean? That's like, but she was really good looking, so, you know, he's like, wow, there's something about her. I don't know. She wants to put me in a fucking gulag, but Jesus Christ, she looked good. And then it just ends up getting him fucked over anyways. The cat has already answered the question, but thank you for answering as well. There's a Hollywood star. He was 17 or something. He married a woman who was like 40 years old. Let me search his name. Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. How are you today, Mr. Let's Hear? I'm good, COD boy. How you doing? You playing some COD? Of Mice and Dudes. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of funny because like with the telescreens, it's just funny that like telescreens are all around us. Our cell phones are telescreens, our actual Chinese televisions are telescreens. Hey Sonomi. My issue is I want to know why I'm always tired. Been like that since I was born and get sleep attacks randomly. I started a few years ago. It's frustrating to be honest. Sleep attacks? Sleep attacks. Do you think you're just like... Well, when you say sleep attacks, do you think you just have like sleep apnea? Do you think you're always tired because you like are snoring really hard and maybe have like a deviated septum or something where... maybe like when you're sleeping, you're just like not getting enough oxygen to your brain to like appropriately recover. In which case, there is some workarounds for that kind of thing. Yeah, sleep apnea, thyroid. I don't have sleep apnea. I've been tested for it 3 times. Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe it's something to do with like a low level of iron. Maybe you just like need to... I've heard like if you can increase your like copper levels, it should be able to adhere and hold on. Or what does it do? With something to do with copper and iron levels correlate. She should eat a penny. No, don't do that. Flip it up in the air like you're gonna catch it, but then catch it in your mouth. JK. Does he still lift a lot? Yeah, I still go to the gym. What are you up to, D-Shore? What have you been doing? Where you been? You've abandoned your post. Just kidding. The first PI job I ever worked was for a firm down in my native South Carolina, back from 2021 to 2022. It was a small outfit, not the most professional either, but it made for a good setting of training wheels so I could learn the tricks of the trade before moving on to bigger and better things. Now I guess that make me sound... So I guess that might make me sound kind of bitter or resentful, or you wouldn't be... Oh my God. What's the point of pennies? You can't buy anything? Yeah, they stopped producing pennies more recently because of that. Because of inflation. I guess that might make me sound kind of bitter or resentful, and you wouldn't be wrong about that. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my 3rd solo assignment, I think some of y'all might feel a little hard done by But if you were treated like I was treated after my only... What the fuck am I reading? God damn it. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my third solo assignment, I think some of you might feel a little hard done by... I don't know what the fuck this phrase is. But if you were treated like a... You know, this is not the right... What is the... Fucking no. My psychology professor threw pennies at us in class. Nice. Why did you abandon the Glitch in the Matrix stories? I really love the first ones you did. I'd love if you continued to narrate those types of stories. Yeah, I think I could probably look into it. Get some more. I usually do like paranormal videos to include them. Alright. I guess that might make me sound kind of bitter or resentful, and you wouldn't be wrong about that. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my dude, I can't read this fucking sentence. Holy shit. After only my third solo. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my third solo assignment, there's something about this sentence feels like out of order. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my thirds... Dude, I wish I could tag somebody in. I need a fucking break after that last story. It's like so fucking long. But if you were treated like I was treated after only my third solo assignment, I think some of y'all might feel a little unfairly treated as well. So, back around the holidays of 2021, I was given that third assignment, and since I was still a greenhorn, it was a simple one. A lady called saying her husband was lying to her, and that when he said he was going out drinking with friends, he was never at any of the bars that he said he was headed to. She wanted to know if he was cheating or not. She just couldn't bring herself to actually follow him anywhere, because seeing it happen would break her heart way worse than just knowing it was happening for certain. I guess you might not be surprised at how many jobs we get like that. Some outfits specialize them. I'm out of sugar juice, bro. In the brain. After my third Pokemon battle, can we have a Let's 3 fucking D episode already? Like 8. Do you ever see those videos like 8D audio? It'd be kind of funny to do a video with 8D audio. I think there's a YouTube video of a guy using pennies in a shotgun shell and post the results. That's cool. Would you have to like smelt them all down into like the little beads or whatever? I guess you might not be surprised at how many jobs we get like that. Some outfits specialize in them, saying lust and mistrust keep the lights on around their places. It's a sad fact, but it's a sad world, and in our business, there wasn't much room for happy endings. Since it was a pretty basic job of following this lady's husband around, it was given to me. Covert surveillance was one of the few things that I felt that I was good at, so I was pretty confident going into the job that I'd find out what this guy was up to, and all without him realizing that I was following him. Now, I was giving the guy's address. Are you still doing the movie review on Patreon? Oh yeah, I was just thinking about it. I was just kind of getting a gauge on whether or not you think it'd be fun to listen to. Like, do you think if I just like watched horror movies and then did reviews, you guys would be into that? I could tell you what, movie we're gonna watch for the next week, and what happened to Mr. Ball and Twisted History was dope. Yeah, it just got canceled because of like funding issues and contract stuff, and they shift things in the background, and I'm just kind of along for the ride. So honestly, we got 20 episodes in. That's a lot of episodes. Hey, see you, Lynn. Have a good night. Sleep well. per deepy. He's rubbing around my feet. What are you doing? Dude, he's such a good cat, man. Probably the world's greatest cat. Joel, your sign Gemini enters Uranus 250426 for 7 years, man. A must listen to. 7 years. Is it going to be a good one? Can you fill me in? What color's the cat? Black? Yeah, he's a black cat. He's my muse. My goat, your stories get me through my night shifts. Thanks, Cam. Good to see you. Take care, man. See you next time. Kisses for deep. Thank you. Oh, he's in the chat right there. Look at him. Wasn't last stream, didn't we have like light per deep? It was like a white per deep? Astro, I am so funny. Wait, what about my head going in my anus or whatever? What was it again? I was given the guy's address, a photograph of him, and a photograph of his car, too. And then after reading through a little background info on the case, I was good to go. Now, the first night I tailed the guy, who I'll just call Mark because that's what he was, and he drove over to a friend's house after telling his wife that that's where he would be. A little anticlimactic and... God damn it. Dude, that last... I don't know why. Some of these sentences feel like they don't blend at all. The first night, I tailed the guy, who I'll just call Mark, because that's what he was. He drove over to a friend's house after telling his wife that's where he would be. A little anticlimactic, but I kept it up, and sure enough, one night he told her he was going out to a bar to watch the football highlights with his buddies, and he headed in the total opposite direction. No, I knew it was game on at this point, so to speak, so I kept a wider distance than usual, kept up the tail, and then followed him to this sort of patch of woods about a mile or so out of town. When he turned his car into what looked like a small rest area, I saw him pull up alongside another as I rolled past, making it look like I was headed to wherever I was going. But then the first chance I got, I pulled my car over and ran back to where he was parked to watch him from a dark patch of trees. Now Mark, who I'm also calling Mark to protect the identity of his wife, was talking with who I'm guessing was the owner of the other car. At first I was thinking Mark was a closet case, that he was actually conducting an extramarital affair with another man. I wasn't excited about walking up on him and another woman, and without trying to sound like I hate gay people, I don't. I was even less excited about the idea of waking... PIs are just the government stalkers, pretty much, yeah. Do you eat straight up peanut butter? Yeah, there will be some times where... Oh shit, it's light Pradeep, there he is. But is normal Pradeep in the same room at the same time? Is it possible? But yeah, there's some really good peanut butter out there that I can just scoop up and eat the whole thing. But if you ever want to like gain weight really fast, just eat a fuck ton of peanut butter. I bet affair partners are also business partners for men. You hate men. You want them to die and all of Earth to come to a crashing halt. Tony Soprano. You thought it was fast food? Peanut butter? You thought peanut butter was fast food? I do love peanut butter, but not frequently. Yeah, I haven't had it in a long time, solely because it's just... It's too much, it's too tasty. You're saying that men hooking up with other men is sometimes their business partner. So you hate gay men. Got it. Just kidding. Just kidding, folks. This is one of those little jokey jokes we like to say on the channel. I wasn't excited about walking up on him and another woman, and without trying to sound like I hate gays, I don't. I was even less excited about the idea of walking up on him and another dude. But since I had to confirm that he was cheating and not just report back on where he was going, I had no choice. And so I watched Mark and his buddy for a few minutes while they did nothing but talk, before they suddenly walked over to the other guy's trunk and he opened it up. No, I got this sinking feeling in my stomach, thinking it was another dud, and all Mark was there to do was buy a second-hand job. My brother, all sleep apnea, and he woke up like 40 times an hour, of course, and he had to get one of those machines. Yeah, it's tough. But, if he's doing all right. Hey, Trinity, what's going on? I got this sinking feeling, thinking it was another dud, and all Mark was there to do was buy a second-hand pair of jumper cables or something. And so imagine my surprise when he and his buddy slid a couple of ski masks over their heads before the buddy took what looked like a couple of... So imagine my surprise when he and his buddy slid a couple of ski masks over their heads before the buddy took what... Oh my god. So imagine my surprise when he and his buddy slid a couple of ski masks over their heads before the buddy took what looked like... Jesus fuck. Am I going to review The Exorcist as the first movie review? Yeah, honestly, that's not a bad idea. One time I get back to my sister in the middle of the night, slowly rose in my bed and stared at her for 1 minute, and then slowly put myself back to sleep. To this day, I never told her. Wait, you... One time to get back at my sister in the middle of the night, I slowly rose in my bed and stared at her for 1 minute, then slowly put myself... I'm confused. What, did you just like stared from a distance, or were like looming over her? Were you floating? So imagine my surprise when he and his buddies slid a couple of ski masks over their head. Oh my god, I don't know why this is so hard. So imagine my surprise when he and his buddies slid a couple of ski masks over their heads before the buddy took what looked like... I don't even know why this is hard. So imagine my surprise when he and his buddies slid a couple of ski masks over their heads before the buddy took what looked like a couple of hammers or hatchets from the trunk and handed one to Mark. I didn't have any kind of camera, let alone one with any night vision capabilities, so there was no recording either of them as they walked off into the trees. And before anyone reading this starts thinking, why not just use your phone? Well, that wasn't an option. It was almost pitch black, and the light coming from inside the open car would have done nothing but silhouette them if I tried to take a picture without a flash. I could barely see what they were holding in their hands, and that's why I said either hammers or hatchets. And then after Mark's buddy locked up his car and the dome light went off, there was no seeing them at all. So while I had a good idea that they were up to no good... Dude, my brain's fucking broken. Sent one of most recent videos. Gotta go, Darren. What are you talking about? Was that a joke about Geminis going into Uranus? Not quite. The phrasing is flipped. What actually happening in astrology, it's Uranus moving into Gemini, not Gemini going to Uranus. Uranus changes signs about 7 years. It's expected to enter Gemini 25-26. It will stay there till roughly 2032-2033. In astrology, it says Uranus equals change, disruption, innovation, Gemini, communication, media, learning, information. So this transit is often interpreted as big shifts in technology and communication, changes in how people learn, speak, and share ideas, potential upheaval in media, internet culture, and information flow. This is all based on astrological interpretation, not scientists. Can you simplify what that might mean? Jupiter. Joel's the pitcher. So it's a 7-year stretch where communication information gets shaken up. You might switch how you talk to people, more direct, different play. You could get pulled into new types of content, tech, or ways of expressing yourself. New formats blowing up, different audience expectations, pressure to adapt your style or delivery. Sudden ideas or pivots. You may get random strong ideas that feel like this is the move. Some could be great, some impulsive. Don't blindly chase every new idea, filter them. More change than usual. Plans may shift faster. People around you might act unpredictable. Trends can flip quickly, especially online. You may feel like you constantly need to learn new tools or systems, staying relevant or staying adaptable. I don't fucking know, man. I might have to go move in with the Skeksis. I don't know, I don't know. Do you guys imagine like anything like within podcast or YouTube really changing that much anytime soon? Like, do you see any other platforms really popping off, or any new forms of media getting bigger? What's up, Justin? Been on this FERC ad plane all day. Oh yeah, where you headed? Oh, fuck. Headed to Spain. Okay. Headed to Spain without the S. You see the internet going away with the mass reset. Oh man, I thought that too. I was like, maybe there's some type of coronal mass ejection that just like completely shits on the internet, or maybe they shut it down. Maybe like a false flag from the Iran or China or something, like just completely shits on. That would suck. I'm gonna have to go work on a fucking railroad, guys. YouTube's going away here soon when the internet gets shut off. Must see places as European and USA planning a coast-to-coast road trip. Must see places as a European and USA planning a coast-to-coast road trip. Fuck, man, that's a good question. New York City, I guess. Literally nowhere in Pennsylvania. Pretty much all of the Midwest can be avoided. Maybe going like down south a little bit to Florida and then going up through Texas. Texas is fucking huge. Yeah, Texas into, like Colorado and, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone. And then through Area 51. And then maybe up through California into the Pacific Northwest, maybe? And then maybe back across, maybe just make like a big loop back across through the Canadian border area. You like Pennsylvania? It's, just stay out of it, alright? Stay off my lawn. Been almost every state and decided I want to live in East Tennessee. Nice. You've been to every state and that's where you decided. Tennessee's nice, man. You can get good weather, but you can also go see the mountains too, the Blue Mountains. Nebraska, I don't know. I feel like the Midwest is filled with so much glyphosate that if you're there too long, you're just gonna get fucking cancer. Dream for you is to visit as many Orthodox churches as you can. Yeah, I guess that's a decent goal. Do some Orthodox priests dress up like Qui-Gon Jinn, like Jedi? Because I swear I saw somebody the other day wearing like a full fucking Jedi outfit, but I think they might have been Orthodox. I think I'd love Western Washington. Yeah, maybe. You live in Tennessee? Oh, cool. How is it? Tennessee. You're the only tan I see. Was he dressed in black? Yeah, it was just like, he looked like what Darth Maul wears. Did you ever see Darth Maul? It was basically that without like the red and black makeup. Joe, I'm going up north tomorrow, solo hike, Mount Lafayette specifically. It's always a fun hike. Maybe I'll have a story next time. Cheers. Cheers, Pete. Stay safe. Bring a gun. Maybe to, self-defense. So while I had a good idea that they were up to... Fuck, I gotta get these stories read, brother. So while I had a good idea that they were up to no good, I needed to follow if I wanted to know what it was, but you can bet your ass that I kept my distance. I must have given it maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and then I crossed the road, past Mark and his buddy's car, and then followed them off into the darkness. The trees were fairly spaced out, and there was just enough moonlight for us to not need any flashlights, which was good, but also bad because it meant at some points I had to tail Mark and the company by sound alone. They were keeping their voices down, but not whispering or anything like that, and their footfalls were so loud that... Rude F no, this man has character galore. Who's that? Character glory hole. Oh, Astral, yeah, do you think the internet's gonna go off here soon, or what do you think? Based on that astrological future soothsaying bullshit that we just read. You want to see Joel be rude and read Milking Farm? What's Milking Farm? That sounds strange. If anyone comes through Tennessee, you can make it to Cookville. We had awesome small coffee shop and indie bookstores. Hell yeah. We really love when hipsters gentrify small country towns. Turn it into their own little liberal haven. They were keeping their voices down, but not whispering or anything like that. And their footsteps were so loud that I could keep an easy track of them. But then after only a few minutes of walking, they stopped, exchanged a few even quieter words, and then went silent altogether as they started creeping through the darkness. I realized then that I could see the glow of a campfire in the distance, and that Mark and his buddy were headed right for it. Now, I rightly figured that whoever the campfire belonged to, Mark and his buddy were either headed out to meet them or sneaking out there to attack them, and from the way they were doing just that, sneaking, I was right in assuming it was the second one. And then almost seconds later, not after they disappeared into the darkness completely, I heard someone yelling over near the campfire, and then the yelling turned to screaming. When I heard the screaming, it was like the math started mathing in my head all of a sudden, and I realized exactly what Mark and his friend were doing. You see, there had been a spate of really horrible attacks perpetrated. He's doing his rolls. Don't say Cooksville, don't move here. Way too many people too fast are coming and moving here. We're also a college town, so a lot of people. That sounds about right. Memphis is terrible and their road sucks. Only good things are Graceland and the Bass Pro Shops Pyramid. Anyone been to Casa Bonita in Denver? Is it worth it? I don't know. The only place I've been to Denver, oops, sorry kitty, stepped on him. In Colorado, I went to Boulder, and then I was Denver and then Boulder. Boulder was interesting, I guess. Sometimes when I travel, though, it's like, it is really, really overwhelming, like, sometimes taking in the fact that, like, every other human being is, like, not you. As stupid as that sounds, as dumb as that sounds, it's almost, like, just easier for my brain to, like, not contemplate so many other humans' existences. I love peanut butter on a wrap and get those homemade jelly, and they're so good, but I don't like when they put the orange zest in the orange jelly. That's nasty to me because you have to spit it out. Yucky. Listening to you while flying over Greenland. Let's go, bro. We're about to take it. We're about to turn that into Peter Thiel's fucking hunting grounds, bro. That's his. That's our king's. You see, there's been a spate of really horrible attacks perpetrated on the town's homeless community, who live just outside the limits in a bunch of woodland camps, real end-of-the-world type stuff. Some were causing trouble, I can't deny that, but when someone started heading out to their camps at night and beating them half to death, they weren't discriminating based on who was and who wasn't stealing from stores or trying to rob cars. They beat anyone, and it was kind of a miracle someone hadn't been killed already. It was only then that I took out my phone, and even then it wasn't to get any pictures. I couldn't. But what I did do was record the sound of some of those screams just so I could prove that I hadn't made the whole thing up. I know it was unlikely that people would think that I'd made anything up, but it sure helps to have a shred of proof sometimes, and this time was no different. I also ended up doing the thing that I said I wouldn't, taking pictures of the car's 2 license plates after making my way back the way I came. Then the next morning, before I contacted the client about what I'd found, I contacted the cops and told them everything. It made for one hell of a call to the client, telling her that there was a good chance her husband might be arrested that day, and then when she asked why, I told her what I'd found. She was so horrified that she just hung up. I thought we'd have to chase her to pay the rest of the invoice. She paid a few days later, I'm guessing after she'd processed the arrest and charges. And the whole thing turned into a big story, and I think a total of 4 local men were arrested for organizing violent raids against the homeless camps. It was easily one of the most messed up cases I've ever worked on for any of the firms or companies I've worked for. And before I left for pastures new, we ended up getting a letter from the guy's wife thanking us for uncovering her husband's dark secret. We get paid pretty good, and that's just about the one thing I can't complain about. But getting thank you letters from folks and hearing how grateful they are is just about the only other thing about this job that makes it all worth it. Flavor Flav. Anyone follow the story of Sophia Rain? Yeah, I do. I listened to Brian Coulter with Uranus moving into Gemini. I expect massive changes. Almost every job is replaceable by AI. Oh my god, bro. I just realized, yeah, you're absolutely right. But the question is, guys, do you think because, like, okay, listen to me real good, and please be open-minded. Okay, so I know that my job as a narrator could probably be easily replaced by all sorts of it kind of seems like YouTube is pulling back on like AI content, you know, in favor of human stuff. It seems that way, at least. So I feel like, having already amassed this audience and all that kind of stuff, I can't imagine losing YouTube to a bunch of clank and clankers. You know what I'm saying? That's all we do is listen. We're your coworkers. That's true. I had mentioned a few streams ago that YouTube was looking to demonetize AI readers. I can't stand AI voice narration. I know, it's just like, even whenever, like, no matter how good it gets, it's always just gonna sound like it just sounds like it don't sound right, you know what I mean? It's like uncanny valley. It doesn't matter how good it gets, it's just like not correct. I'm just here to feed Joel's ego. This is the only place I get to have an ego in my life. Do you ever read 4chan stories? Yeah, I have like a whole playlist of 4chan stories on the channel if you ever want to check them out. A lot of them are really fucking weird and funny. So probably one of my favorite series, honestly. No matter how much AI gets better, it still take a weird pauses. Yeah, I feel like it's never gonna fully... Well, I don't know. Cortana. Down to Sleep podcast reads kids stories like Peter Rabbit and it helps my kids go to sleep. Oh, that sounds nice. Time for Peter Rabbit.
Hello, children. Have you heard the story of Peter Rabbit? Oh, you haven't. Perfect. Well, allow me to beguile you with tales of our furry friend as you pass off into dreamland.
That's what he sounds like, I think. Never listened to his channel or his podcast, but I imagine it's similar. Beguile, regale. Let me beguile you. I mean, I guess beguile, isn't beguile to like confuse, so maybe it's a little bit right. Oh, bother. We're gonna read the stories of Mr. Rabbit. How often am I live? I'm here by random. I go live every Sunday and Wednesday night, recording the stories for tomorrow's video. Okay. Cleo de Nile, you so beguile, even though you act so vile. That's cool. What does Brian Briarfox sound like? I never heard him. I had an old friend who used to be a cop, but he had to medically retire at 36 after some a-hole almost blew his legs off. So he was just an ununiformed cop, driving around the city responding to calls. Then one day, he gets one about a guy acting very weird who was threatening to shoot people as they walk past his home. He rolls up on the house to find one of the neighbors across the street taking cover behind his car, pointing at the suspect's house and yelling, He just ran back inside. He says he's going to start shooting from the windows. My buddy runs towards this guy's open front door, trying to corner the guy and not make himself a sitting duck out there. But then, as he walked into his house, bam, the guy fires up through his floorboards from the basement. He'd stripped away some of the paneling underneath, so my friend basically walked into this guy's trap. And while he avoided having to have anything amputated, the doctor said he was real lucky that wasn't the case. Now, he goes through all the recovery and rehab, and the department said that they'd assess him at the end of it and see if he was still okay to do his job. But my friend said that he knew early on that he'd end up getting disability, as they call it, and when you're no longer fit to be a cop anymore, usually after getting hurt while you're on the... You know what's kind of crazy? A friend of mine was in the military just long enough to do like basic training or something. He did basic training, hurt his shoulder, and then now for the rest of time he gets like veterans assistance like monthly, and it's like $4,000 a month. And then he even got to like go to like some like get like a sort of college education because of it as well, all on like and he gets like veterans medical stuff. And I don't know, it's really like, I just remember like hearing about it, like he didn't like really serve, but he gets like VA shit. He gets $4,000 a month. Like, I don't know, it's just like fucking ridiculous. I listened to one of your dark web stories last night where you narrated in a slow, convincing, scary voice. Wow, that was 10 years ago back. No AI can replace that with you. Thank you, Astro. Now, if you can talk to our space god overlords and tell them to cool it with the AI stuff. You know, when you leave and then you come back, does it start from where it is, or has it paused and then you have to move forward? If the red dot where it says live is live, you're good. If the red dot is like gray on the play button area, it means it's behind and you just have to click it to make it live. What's up, Beth? You are late for a very important date. He qualifies for the GI Bill, and he might be getting so much if he was hurt because of something they did that he wouldn't have done himself. Ah, okay, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Was the American Psycho reference to cool it? cool it with the antiseptic remarks. But my friend said that he knew early on that he'd end up getting disability, as they call it, and when you're no longer fit to be a cop anymore, usually after getting hurt while you're on... Oh, it's like part of the same sentence, but not really. If you're in the army/service and honorably discharged, you still get benefit. Oh, yes, that's what happened to him. It was like some shoulder issue and then got like somehow was going to get kicked out, but then got honorable discharge. I don't know. It was very interesting process of events. But it's kind of frustrating because it seems like it hit, like, I don't know what it is. Like, whenever I have like friends who get like government assistance, and it genuinely seems like a huge trap to me. Like, I get why they get it, kind of, but at the same time, it's just like, it almost seems like they want to do nothing for the rest of their life. A lot of them like barely even like work jobs. Like my friend who's like a pastor, he gets like so much fucking government assistance that when it comes to like working at the gym, it's like he doesn't actually want to make money. And then my other friend, I think he does it to avoid paying his ex-wife anything, you know. It's just pretty funny. Mike Arrington, welcome back to the Buttersuck Cult. Even though it still has the symbol, you've been around forever, but it didn't tell me the months. And Astral, thank you for the 8 Australian. Appreciate you. Oh, I bet I thought they ruined the series. That's why I was asking. Which series? Maybe you need new friends. I do need some new friends, honestly. I need friends that I can, like, look up to. Does that make sense? I have, like, a lot of, like, friends who are good people, but they're, like, not anything, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, friends that I can kiss. That would be nice. Meanwhile, the rest of us are putting in hours and hours of work. Right, yeah. Like successors? No, not successors. Isn't successor someone that, like, takes over what you're doing? No, I don't need friends that are going to take over or me take over for them. I just mean, like, I don't know. Like, just someone I can be like, how did you get to this part of your life? Or that? I don't know. Somebody that, but I mean, now I'm fucking, it's not, you know, it's hard to find, like, a mentor at 36, or not that I need a mentor, but just, like, friends that you can kind of, like, compare yourself to and be like, nice, dude, that's cool. I want to do that, you know. I mean, I guess I kind of do. Like, one of the friends who's also in the military, like, he does work really hard. He's, like, his engine is, like, unstoppable, but he was in, like, special forces and stuff. You are who you surround yourself with. This is true. Very true. I am that friend. Yeah, but I'm so sick of being that friend. I don't want to be, like, the tippitiest tip-top shape of friend, you know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah, seeking an alpha, yeah. I'm sick of being the alpha. I'm ready to be the omega. I'm ready to roll over and let them rub my belly a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was a member for over 5 years, but laughs I used to do planks with you in the 3:30 back in the day. Damn, dude, we need to get back into planking. We'll do planking, and then we'll do owling, and then we'll do flossing, and then we'll eat Tide Pods. I'm tired of being the furriest friend. So what are you looking for is a deeper understanding connection. Exactly. That'd be cool. I just don't really know where to find it. Like, I think I might need to go join a church, like, for realsies. Because, like, when you're old, it's really hard to, like, it's really hard to do, I don't know why that comment's really funny. Ew, his voice is hot. It's like, that's disgusting. I like you. Sometimes they somehow get a 10 grand drum set over the hepatitis C. Very mysterious, and that's a thing. A medical payment mystery time off? Who fucking knows? I hear you, Joel. Being the best friend in a friend group is tough. Sounds arrogant. I know, but I get it. Yeah, it's 340 friends is enough. Well, no, I look up to you guys. You guys got to teach me how to be a better human. You won't fit in, you ask too many questions. Yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, that was one of my biggest frustrations with going to church before, was like every time you go to the Bible study or whatever, it's like, for some reason, like listening to other people talk about their faith almost made me like dislike my own faith like more, if that made sense, because they just sounded really blind, if that makes sense. And maybe and there's really no need for someone's faith to be like some incredible poetry at all times or anything like that, but it felt, yeah, a little bit brainwashed, a little bit crazy, and it made me feel really uncomfortable, you know, because it made me think, I'm like, which God are they talking to? Yeah, which imaginary person are they speaking to in their head? I don't know. So zoned out, I'm having a passion hobby outside of the boob tube and connect through there. Absolutely. It did feel a bit culty. I'm curious, do you have an example of the things they said? It was just like, well, you know, just kind of feel like Ezekiel would have done these things. I don't even know. Or even just like, I don't even know. Listening to like friends reference like Old Testament things, like Old Testament narratives. Well, like when Noah, when the flood came, you know, and you're just like, I guess, man, I guess. Noah really did certainly build a big old ship. I'd like to have one friend. It's a damn near impossible as soon as to be 41 years old. My best friend died in an overdose 2 decades ago. Fuck, man, I'm sorry. Maybe you could join a church too, or join like a workout group, or maybe a book club as well. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, it's got to be something out there you can just kind of go do and do it enough. Like, it's like healthy. There's not like alcohol or whatever. I think most people confuse inner dialogue with God, and they finally have an inner dialogue and they think God is talking to them. Well, you know, I don't think most religious people think God is like outright speaking to them. I've never heard them say that per se. Maybe they like talk about like interpretations, and the interpretations seem to fit what the group think is like kind of like heading towards, which, you know, it's like they usually try to keep it within the confines of sanity. Because I know within the church that I had gone to for a while, there was like at least 3 cases of like some pretty severe mental health issues. Like one dude would have like schizophrenic breaks and go to like the airport in his underwear and say Jesus was on the plane, and then this other dude like took too much LSD and he just like went fucking nutty balls. That was kind of funny, I guess, a little bit. I mean, I guess both situations were pretty funny. When you write them down, they're funny. Objectively looking at them, probably kind of scary in the moment. Well, what kind of friend are you looking for? I don't know. Just like something that you're like, I want to emulate that, maybe, perhaps. I'm not sure. Yeah, they sounded disingenuous, and you have to find that for yourself. It's part of read the Bible from start to finish and see if any makes you have the feels. Yeah. I've been thinking about church, even though I'm an atheist, but I'm open to new experiences. Yeah, you could try it out, you know what I mean? See how it goes. I mean, that's all you can really do. Try to like immerse yourself in it for a little bit. Because like going to church by itself, where it's just like the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. sing songs and leave type thing, like that's not going to be super fun. So you kind of need to go to the Bible studies or like the community days or whatever the fuck they do, you know, just to like actually interact one-on-one with some human beings and stuff, to really genuinely get a vibe for it. But yeah, it might be good. I just think like people in their long run, especially as they get older, they need that community, especially a community that might basically give them hope for, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna be 72 one day, right? You know, and sometimes when you're 72, you think about dying, and then, you know, if there's really nothing beyond, that 72-year-old self of yours gets really down, and then you just like drive your Big Mac truck into a fucking reservoir. Some adventurous Oh yeah, something adventurous would be fun. My uncle is a reverend. I've heard enough preaching. That's totally fair. I don't believe you have to go to church to have faith. I don't either. I think it's fine. Do it at home, whatever. Stay-at-home job. Yeah, my life is pretty boring, so anything outside of torture sounds interesting. Yeah, you might want to go to Guantanamo Bay Church. Do me a favor, don't read across that comment. It's getting a movie adaptation. It's very disturbing. Consider Garth Ennis wrote it. Garth Penis. Church is beneficial because community is. Religion is beneficial because spirituality is. But you don't need church to have community. You don't need religion to be spiritual. I agree, yeah. Join the SCA. What's that? Is that like the Proud Boys? Just kidding. Alright. But my buddy said that he knew early on that he'd end up getting disability, as they call it, when you're no longer fit to be a cop anymore, usually after getting hurt while you're on the clock. He got given all that sweet, sweet disability money, and I know guys that would have just played golf and worked on their cars for the rest of their days. But my old buddy there, he wasn't that kind of guy. Still isn't, actually. He still wants to run around chasing bad guys and investigating things, so it was just his luck that all his experience as a police officer meant a high-paying job as a private investigator. But his troubles didn't end there. He thought it was going to be all easy and boring, but he didn't care because boring meant safe, and his boss warned him that things could get dark pretty. Garth Ennis wrote Punisher, Max, and the DC's Hitman, which are a great series if you want to know who Garth Ennis is. Oh, okay, so like a little bit like a more of a darker. Did you see I guess there was a new release for Clayface, the DC Clayface movie. It's rated R. Oh my god, that's actually brilliant. That's what DC should start doing to get it back against Marvel, even though Marvel's kind of dying, is DC needs to start doing just like straight up R-rated superhero movies. I think that's it. I think that's how they get back in. And I guess that's what they're doing with Clayface, but I don't really know what is Clayface even about. I have no idea. Is he the one that Batman, like, goes, like, fights the clay guy made out of... Oh, wait a second. I think I do remember Clayface. He can change into people and disguise himself or something. My uncle would always ask me why I don't go to church anymore, and I told him that I feel closer to God and nature. He actually told me that was fair. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. Sometimes, like, you get too close to the community, and if you really think about it, like, all the churches in, like, the book of Acts, or all those letters and stuff that, like, Paul or whatever sent out, it was really just, like, him and people being, like, pissed at the church all the time. I mean, even Jesus was, like, pissed at the religious leadership in his time, right? So you gotta understand that, like, your connection with God is always just going to be your own, right? It's always going to be your own personal time in your little closet, hidden away from everyone else, where you pray and you don't tell anybody about what you pray. I mean, you could tell people what you prayed about, but you're not doing it out of, like, pride. You're not doing it out of, like, trying to get something or whatever. You're just in communion with the creator of everything or whatever, right? And yeah, you know, sometimes you can join the community from time to time, but if you're genuinely trying to, like, connect on a deeper spiritual level with something, you're probably 99% of the time going to be disappointed by the faculties of humanity, you know. Turned over the tables, this is true, yeah. His boss warned him things could get pretty dark sometimes, and he could handle the dark. At least, he thought so anyway. He ends up getting a case involving possibly infidelity, where the client was a guy who thought his wife might be cheating on him with someone she worked with. Now, my friend said that he seemed like a normal guy. Upset, but kind of resigned to it. And he pretty much knew his wife was cheating. He just needed proof, so his divorce attorneys... Hey, Your Honor, I'm a divorce attorney. Ah, flick. The animated series Batman defeated him by showing too many pictures of people to the point that he couldn't change and was a very good actor, so he impersonated people. Oh, I do remember that episode, dude. The animated series Batman is one of the most goated shows of all time. If I ever say that, when someone asks me what my favorite show is, it's going to be that. Because I don't know how it could be anything else. I mean, it could be Dragon Ball Z, but at the same time, like, there's so many filler episodes in those fucking shows that I don't think Batman ever had, like, any filler episodes. It was every episode was very poignant, you know? I'm going through a phase of not sleeping and not be able to stay asleep. If I do get to sleep, I've tried magnesium, it doesn't work anymore. Any tips for fellow insomniacs? I'm super stressed, so not helping. Damn. How old are you, and what are you experiencing otherwise? Oh, Hey Arnold is so good. The world of Hey Arnold is just like so well realized. Everybody Hates Chris. I feel like I never got to watch a lot of Everybody Hates Chris. I heard it's funny though. He pretty much knew his wife was cheating. He just needed proof, so his divorce... Ben 10. Huh. I never really watched Ben 10. I'll be honest with you, the animation style doesn't really, like, jump out to me, but I get... It just seemed like one of those, like, throwaway Nickelodeon shows where there's just a million of them, you know? All done with the same sort of animation, but... Same with Danny Phantom. It kind of just falls into that same category, but maybe Ben 10's really good. I remember, if you've never seen The New Adventures of Johnny Quest, dude, I'm not joking when I say The New Adventures of Johnny Quest might be up there with, like, as far as, like, story, animation, and just general overall quality compared to Batman the Animated Series. No, not Justin, you don't understand. Not old Johnny Quest, though old Johnny Quest is okay. The New Adventures of Johnny Quest. It came out in, like, the year 2000, and they would go into, like, 3D animated worlds sometimes, but it was pretty heavy. There was, like, a lot of, like, violence and, like, heavy themes in that show that I feel like were a little bit beyond kids, you know? I'm old as fuck, 40, and my mom, who was my bestie, died in an accident 3 months ago. I could sleep at first, and now I can't. I just want one good sleep. Damn, okay. Do you think maybe you could, like, exercise to the point of exhaustion, like go on really long walks, or maybe get into, like, weightlifting and cardio to the point where by the time the end of the day comes, you're like, just can't fucking wait to sleep? Courage the Cowardly Dog is good. What's up, Beth? Where'd you go? That was a really good animation on New Johnny Quest. They even said in the beginning it was down in, like, 20 different countries. It was down in 20 different countries? What do you mean? Code Lyoko? Never heard of Code Lyoko. Is that anime? He pretty much knew his wife was cheating. He just needed proof, so his divorce attorney... Oh my god, I can't say it. Divorce attorneys. A tongue twister. Try this tongue twister before you go out on stage. Divorce attorney. I am allergic to divorce. If I do get married to someone, you're not leaving. You think you're leaving. You're not going anywhere. Okay. A tongue twist of history. He pretty much knew his wife was cheating. He just needed proof so his divorce attorneys could make it a quick and relatively cheap process. And that's where my buddy came in. He tails the lady morning. I have dyslexia. Christ on a cross. He tails the lady morning until night, finding out that she really is cheating, and then after getting a bunch of photographs of them meeting up and smooching and all of that, he presents all of his photos and notes to the client. He said that, again, during the second meeting, noting about the client's behavior made him suspicious or suggested what he was about to do. Dude, is this written like it's dyslexic? He said that again, comma, during the second meeting, comma, nothing about the client's behavior made him suspicious. No, I'm just retarded. Okay, never mind. Okay, in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the grandpa's solution to anything and everything is Windex, poison ivy cuts, swole toe, just like that. Joel's like that, but instead of Windex, it's Jim. Oh, dude, Sonomi, wait till you try the gym. You're gonna lose your fucking mind. Who would have thought that, like, exercise and a healthy diet is almost like probably one of the greatest fix-alls since Windex. He said that again, during the second meeting, nothing about the client's behavior made him suspicious or suggested what he was about to do. All he did was talk about attorney's fees and what the judge had to say about it. He seemed relieved in a lot of ways, and my buddy said he actually managed to crack a smile when they shook hands as he was leaving. Then a week later, he sees the guy's face in the newspaper. My buddy never told me either of their names, said he couldn't bring himself to say them out loud, but the man who'd acted so calm and mild-mannered in front of my buddy had actually gone home, drove out to where his wife was staying, more info my friend gave him, and then shot her 6 times as she was walking out to her car one day. The wife survived somehow, but ended up in one of those big old motorized wheelchairs, completely paralyzed and blowing into a tube to make herself go forward. And the guy ended up going to prison. Dude, it was so funny earlier. I wish you could hear my one friend talk, because, like, he's been my best friend since, like, we were young. Well, he's been one of my best friends. I've got a crew of besties. You got to meet them all. They're like the Avengers, but they're kind of retarded. But anyway, he actually is a little bit retarded because he was in special ed most of his life, and he just says the funniest shit ever. But I've just been friends with him for so long, and like he. Earlier he was like, because we were talking about sadly one of our other friends' grandmothers had passed away. She was 98 years old with dementia, and you obviously self-reflect on, like, how life goes and all that kind of stuff when someone passes away, and also the fact that, like, her, like, last 15 years of her life was basically her living in, like, a prison of her body, blah blah blah. He's literally the alpha. I'm like, he is my alpha, honestly. And so anyways, grandma's dead, unfortunate. But then my friend at some point was like, dude, if I'm ever like 70, 80 years old and I'm just like in the hospital, just like demented or whatever, like, you have your permission to kill me, or you have my permission to kill me. I was like, okay. I was like, don't you think I would, like, I feel like this, the police probably wouldn't like me doing that. I think you want me to get in trouble? And he's like, no, they won't care. You can I literally give you permission now to go in and just, like, pull the plug on my life support. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sure that'll go over really fucking well with the nurses and doctors. They won't do anything to stop me there. But I was just thinking that would be really funny to write in your, like, living will, or I don't know, like, whatever, what's the medical, like, protocol whenever you're, like, a DNR, do not resuscitate or whatever. Just get that in your, like, legal paperwork, where if I'm ever in, like, a life-threatening situation on life support, Joel has legal ability to just fucking shoot me in the head. The advance directive, yeah, that's it. I would go back to the gym if they open another all-women's gym for now. I just go to the classes. Well, that's good too. I mean, I think classes are a great thing for women, really anybody to do, just because it's like, very social. Like, obviously you see, like, men lift and they're like, it's just me versus me. If I can't lift this guy over there that I chose to be my enemy for literally no reason other than the fact that I don't like his face, makes me gay. And I ain't gay today. And even if I am gay, he's gayer than I am. But, like, a girl, women are just, like, bouncing on fucking trampolines in the other room with, like, moon boots. Woohoo! Come on, girls. Keep up, ladies. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1 and 2 and a 1, 2, 1. You're just like fucking like fighting for your life with like 500 pounds in your back, and you're like, and you like look over at the fucking Pilates room, and like just women are just like floating around like Peter Pan, like just like they just like there's no gravity in the room. It's like, what the fuck is going on over there? I'm talking about that one video. Yeah. All the Tias dancing in the Zumba class. Yeah, they go fucking hard. Have you ever tried Pilates? It's fucking rough, man. Anything yoga, Pilates, like my glutes is burning. That's how guys look at each other in the gym, like some dude who lifts more thinks you're lame. It's weird. It's like this, like when it comes to like guys' relationships in the gym are just like, it'll go from like, hey bro, can you spot me? And we're like, yeah, sure, man. And then like just every time it's like, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? And then by like number 7, you're just like, yo, what's good, man? Good to see you. Looking big, bro. You too. I'm trying to get like you, man. Nice. And you like have no idea what each other's names are at all. And you just like, fist pump and stuff like that. Take your shirts off and cover yourself in oil. But then there's always that one guy. There's just like that one dude at the gym that you just don't know why, but you just fucking hate him. He sucks. And you dare him. You fucking dare him to try something. Alright, I gotta get this story done, dude. The guy ended up going to prison for a hell of a long time, too. And I mean, the whole thing just sounded awful. The couple had a high school-age kid, and what happened messed her up so much that she ended up dying in a car accident while driving drunk one night, like the whole family was cursed. And while his mind managed to survive the guy shooting his wife, hearing about the kid passing in the accident caused my friend to feel a whole lot of guilt. So much guilt, in fact, that he ended up having a complete mental breakdown from all the guilt he was feeling. He quit being a private investigator and then took a job as a consultant for an insurance company, because I guess after being a part of someone's murder, overseeing a few rises in premiums doesn't make a dent. I've joked about that with him, after waiting for the right time, of course, because if there's one thing I know about cops, it's that they get all... The family's cursed. Am I that guy? Yeah, I mean, I know there's someone at the gym that doesn't like me, probably, somewhere. Boomba-clot. But he's just a big boomba-clot. I get awkward walking by the row full of men just to get my 10 little... Yeah. I saw it was like some video of a woman being like, it must be so cool to be a man, where you just like I get done doing my rear delt exercises with like 10s. And it must be so cool to be a man who just like sees a 60-pound weight and just goes, woo, here it is. Here it's floating in the air now. Well, here it goes. Wow, I'm juggling them. Sha. And I was thinking that it is pretty sick to be really fucking strong and cool and sexy. Because if there's one thing I know about cops, it's that they all got that dark sense of humor about things. He did a lot of therapy to help him deal with the guilt, and he's changed his mind about who to blame. He blames Netanyahu. He did a lot of therapy to help him deal with the guilt, and he changed his mind about who the blame really lies with in the death of that poor woman, but he's always stood firm about the realities of being a private investigator. When you're a cop, you work for the government, be it state or federal, local. But when you work privately, you work for anybody who's got the money, and then there's no telling what they're going to do with the info you provide them. Now, his boss said that was the nature of the beast, and that a lot of his high-roller clients were business executives trying to get dirt on each other, either for blackmail or to leak business associates so that a certain person didn't get that promotion that they had their eye on. And then there were the guys, like the one my friend dealt with, who only wanted to know where someone was so they could do them harm. They'd come in acting all upset or worried and then tell the PIs that they were worried about their wives or daughters. Some guys refused the case if they got a bad vibe, but some of these guys would go off looking for them anyway, knowing that it'd have a bad ending, but not giving a crap because the money was right. And that's why my buddies stayed out after... what happened in this story? The Yoga Lattes. Yoga Lattes does sound pretty fun. Does anyone else remember something called Taibo? Oh yeah, it wasn't like a punching class or something? Random, but what do you rate yourself on a scale of like a 1 out of 10 for attractiveness? Honestly, I view myself as like somewhere between like a 6, 7. But honestly, I feel like that seems about right for me. 6, 7, maybe a 7.5 on a good day. But honestly, I feel like some people might view me as like, yeah, like an 8.6 once they get to know me for sure. And then a 10 once they have access to my bank account. And then an 11 once they have access to my sperm bank. Just kidding. Alright, anyways. You think you're the most ugly person here? Don't say that. Personality counts a lot. Yeah, my struggle in real life is like right now you get to hear me, I'm like fun, silly goose, whatever. But like it's so sad. When I was younger, when you had the right social context to like enact yourself in person, it felt so good. It felt so good you had the whole crew yakking. You had the whole crew laughing. You know what I mean? Whatever context it might be. And now, like being a bit older, a bit more socially isolated because of work and stuff, like it's just like so hard to find opportunities as like an older person to like allow your personality to manifest outside of like just your individual friends that you've known forever. I don't know, some people are really good at it, just like being this bubbly, loud, funny person all the time and just like meeting new people on the reg, but it's just not me, man. I'm like I like have to like kind of I'm like one of those people where it's like I'm either quiet around you or you're like I'm like your best friend with you. If we get in like if I'm in a one-on-one situation with someone, we will be like very, very close friends by the end of not that long. A new dating app, what is it called? I haven't used dating apps and I don't even know how fucking long. It's literally just like a fucking humiliation ritual. That's a Sigma male mentality, hell yeah. That's why my buddies stayed out after he got out, because no matter how good the money is, it's just not worth the guilt. Okay. Alright guys, we're gonna read the outro. Online dating sounds depressing as fuck. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I have friends that have met long-term, partners and stuff like that, but it's, you go through a lot of trash, I guess. Did I ever cheat? No, I never cheated on anybody. Dating apps are truly fucking terrifying. I have a few bad stories, never again. Yeah, fuck it. Alright guys, think of something funny for me to say at the end of this. That's the most important thing to do right now. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. And if you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in long compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have a true crime channel called Saturn Soul, new video out now every other Tuesday. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, whip, whip, watch me nay-nay. Watch me whip, whip, watch me nay-nay. Watch me, watch me. There was a bug. Where was a bug? I think Joel has an impact on more fannies than one. What's a fanny? How do you cheat if you're single? That's a great point. I cheated on my favorite porn star. I cheated on my left hand with my right hand. Alright. Watch me, watch me. The song was so annoying. Joel, how tall I am? I'm 5'10" and a half. Gotta get the half in there. Seemed cool. All giggles aside, I cherish the support you. Have a good week. Thanks, Justin. Best of luck with your travels. I hope your plane does not explode. Oh my god. Or end up like that one where like the 3 plasma things are circling it and it just like teleports the plane out of nowhere somewhere. Remember that one? It went missing in like 2012 or some shit. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, all giggles aside, I cherish and support you. Have a good week. 6-7. Alright, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. I gotta go to beddy bye. Gotta be up tomorrow to hit the ground running. You give off the vibes that you'd entertain while you aren't single. Jesus, Gabe. You're projecting. See, I just enacted a psychological word from the dictionary of psych words, and I placed it on you. See, look, see how it affected you? I projected my projections. We are doing word taekwondo right now. Fact, women like what they hear, men like what they see. True, true, true. Some are mind games, some are visual games. Whatever makes the boner bigger. Okay, guys. Love you, appreciate you. I'll be back streaming Sunday, most likely. Yes. I am going to a... Do you guys know who Stavi is? He's like a stand-up comedian. But I'm going to be in Baltimore this weekend to see Stavi perform. My friend is a big fan of his. So, yeah, we're going to be in Baltimore, so that should be good. And Stabby, he was one of the trio from Cumtown. There was Stavi, Stavros, or whatever. He's the fat one who chuckles like a chipmunk. And then there's, what the hell's the other ones? Nick Mullen, also probably the person that carried Cumtown for the most part. He would just like think of all the hilarious hypotheticals or riffs, as they say. And then Adam Friedland was like, you know, the co-host, but often referred to as the girl of the show or the butt of the jokes. The girl of the show. He was the girl of the show. But he's not very funny, so I don't know. Him and Nick started a show together called The Adam Friedland Show, but it's just, I don't know. Nothing against Adam Friedland. I'm sure he's a nice boy, but he's really not that funny, sadly. But anyway, Stavi's really funny. He seems to be killing it within the podcasting / stand-up comedy circuit. Watch your back and don't forget to take some protection when you go to Baltimore. Yeah, dude. Don't worry. I'm not going to any of the scary parts. All right, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Stay safe. Stay warm. Spring has sprung. And I'll see you guys all again soon. Goodbye.